That is the name of the game. On a Sunday afternoon, it would be tomorrow. But on a Saturday afternoon, we have unstoppable power! Just hanging out a little bit. It's the opening 30 seconds. This is where I'm just sort of screaming a lot for the VOD audience. That's the word we use now, right? Instead of the archive audience, the VOD audience. Just kind of chilling out, yelling about things. Sort of waiting until people start saying, "Why are you yelling?" That's how we know that people are alive. But the opening minutes of a live streamed video on demand are always a fascinating experience in the moment for the speaker, because you're kind of just letting loose whatever is gunked up in your brain until, hello, Transmech534, hello there, yourself. You've broken the silence. That sounded more threatening than I meant for it to sound. That was just meant to say hello, welcome, and thanks for speaking. But no, you've broken the silence. I'm hoping people are having as best a Saturday as they can hope to have. Hello, the Kreezer 123. You did make it to a stream. This is live. This is not a very coincidental and lucky pre-record where I just said your name and hoped the dice roll would pan out to where you think that you're here for a live stream. Sam Gabriel Vo, you're some kind of internet personality because you've got one and you're on the internet. I'm just puffing away on my bestrawed Coca-Cola drink. Hello, Chris Muse. I don't know what T-posing is. That sounds illegal. You should be careful. Oh, thoughts on Lightning Collection right now? Yeah, I like the ones I got. I'm not actively trying to hunt down the whole line anymore because it's getting too complicated, so I just pick them up if it's convenient. XCatX25, how can the preview show scenes that didn't happen in the live yet? Well, that's because when you're streaming with the YouTube app on the phone, when you start the stream, it does a little 3, 2, 1 smile for the thumbnail. And I've gotten good at predicting that, so I set up a little thumbnail thing, and then I put the camera, well, the phone, back up here, so that there is a nice-looking thumbnail before the show even starts. So that's in the YouTube app. They let you add a thumbnail if you're prepared for the 3, 2, 1. Hello, Mateo Potato. I don't know what T-posing is. Never heard of it. This sounds like something from a long time ago. This is just Transformers Earthrise Siege Battle Master Class Rung. I'm showcasing his shoulder articulation while I'm hanging out here. I just like how sharp he looks on this phone. Keep picturing me snapping one of his little arms to dab. He can... Jotaku Toys, he's preparing for the Energon enema. That's just ridiculous. There you go. That's a ball joint, right? You can do this. Yeah. Oh no! So these models I got here are from Riot Quest. These are the remaining 6 models I had primed for Riot Quest. This is too high. That's close enough. So I'm doing a little bit of that underpainting thing because I find that oh, Mateo Potato, no worries. This'll go up in public afterwards too, and I'll probably be here a while because that always happens. So you gotta do what's important, etc. So I'm doing this the underpainting thing with that good old with that dank pale sand. Gonna buff up to some of that dank white. But with these Riot Quest models, I'm finding because they're so complicated to me. This is the way I can kind of just make progress on them without having to get like locked up in making decisions. And last night I was gonna buff these guys, like all of them, up to this, which was like getting back up to pale sand after some shading and etc. And then I got tired, so I got 4 of them that I still got to bop up to pale sand. I'm thinking I want to just do this one, and then I might just focus on these 3, because I had 6 of them left primed from last year, and I thought I'll just bop out all 6 of these. But then the longer I'm poking at them, the more I'm like, this is maybe a bit much. So I'm going to focus, I think, on these 3. That being on James here first. See, that's the name, James. And then we'll see how I feel. But I was gonna do a little bit of painting, and I've been finding. I talked about this the last time I live streamed painting. It was a discovery I made whilst doing so. That streaming mini painting feels like a very fun, chill thing to do with the streaming functionality of the YouTube app. And it's a lot more logical to me than trying to figure out ways to stream toys. Ransom Fern, thank you. I also remember dodgy Gundam markers, and I ruined a lot of brushes trying to do nicer things with dodgy Gundam markers. Yeah, boy, I got this one filmed 90% now. I filmed him in Siege Sideswipe yesterday. So my creative brain rot is starting to abate a little bit. But also, I want to do a little bit of painting because then I'll feel satisfied and I can fold this up and I can film some more stuff. I gotta film a quicker unbox thing that I want to do. I want to film it today and then post it either tonight or tomorrow. I finally got the that Kingdom press box. Mine got, because they never gave me tracking, mine was just sitting unattended at a FedEx office for like a week and a half before I got the tracking number, and then I told FedEx, bring it to me. I'm not going there, and they did. Thank goodness. Oh, wait, hang on, I gotta come back. I left my wet palette in the kitchen. That's embarrassing. Look at this, starts a live stream and doesn't even have his wet palette on. Practically walking on stage with no pants. What a jerk. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see all that thigh. What? Ben Walters, hello. My day's going okay. Aaron Udinger. These are not wham hams. These are Riot Quests. Although I got wham hams to paint at some point. Chris Muse, none of these are named Eustace or Corky. However, technically they are your models if you buy them, and you could technically call them whatever you want. I'm sticking with the canon names because then we get good stuff like Balthazar Bamfist, which I still really enjoy saying. So this is not all on screen. But the phone, did you know the iPhone, right? The iPhone ain't bad at live streaming. Once you get, I gotta turn some lights on. Because this thing is, the one the iPhone is bad at is trying to auto correct for exposure, and because there's a little white thing here, it's getting futsy. Chris Muse had a similar war of attrition with UPS over a box of coffee pods your dad sent you. Yeah, like friggin', this is for the Toronto locals. Y'all ever had a FedEx delivery where like, yeah, just come over to Commissioner Street, which is in the middle of F-drop friggin' rat tail nowhere. And I'm not riding on transit for 30 minutes if I don't have to in the current environment. I have friends who have to do that for their current, unfortunately, day jobs in this environment. And I'm not going to add another body to that mess, so I sorted it out, thank goodness. Commissioner Street, any toy collectors in Toronto, I feel like it's a rite of passage is eventually you have to make the sad I don't want to do this trek to Commissioner Street. Joe Talking Toys, Balthazar Bamfist, aka Corky. Real Hybo Man, you're not supposed to know about Zeo Trinity. Sorry, you're not supposed to know about Trinity. Period. Oh, wait, I didn't thin the paint down yet. What am I doing? I'm coming off some bad sleeping, which is, if you hang around me enough, a thing I say every, like, 4 days. But, I woke up feeling peppy, because I was able to get to sleep before dawn last night. And I would just like everyone to validate me and tell them they're proud of me. Oh, Axsmith. I've heard any convention news lately. Yeah, I heard that, I mean, last stream, a bunch of people were saying you're going to be at TFCon Baltimore in the fall. And I was like, I just did. It's been like that for a while. And I was like, I can't. We got this border. Even then, I don't want to travel until sometime next year, outside of potentially going out west just to visit my mom. But then my mom might come out here once we're all vaxxed up, depending on comfort levels and things. It's also telling someone, like, TFCon Baltimore, bear in mind, like, a lot of the TFCon normal staff are from Canada. There are a couple of them in the States now. So it's not like it can't happen if the border is closed, but I was like, temper your expectations. In general, temper your expectations, but especially I would say temper your expectations. I have no, like, inside track on any of this, I should mention off the top of the bat. I know it has occasionally, not by any of you, but by, like, more poisonous folks, been levied, like, oh, you got interests in TFCon. It's like, yeah, dog. My interest is it's a local convention, so I'd like it to go well. That was a little one for Aaron that I just did there. I don't want to get too in the weeds on that. I missed a bunch of chat. Gushers 114. You think you could do a similar stream only with mainline Transformers? No, they still sell mainline Transformers pre-painted. So I'm kind of left in the weeds as far as, like, being able to do one of these streams on it. I've contacted Hasbro, and I had, like, a one-on-one with John, Hasbro. So hopefully that'll take us some places. R.E.D. I posted a review like a month ago. I'm working on a couple of them. I got Earthrise Wheeljack, mostly filmed up now, as of yesterday. Getting rid of some more of that creative brain rot that I've had for the last year. XCat X25, this Riot Quest is a parody interpretation of various Riot Quest miniatures and worlds. Yeah, it's specifically Riot Quest lore is, not to get on the tangent already, but War Machine Hordes had, like, a campaign event with, like, this group showing up, the Infernals, being like, hey, we're here to collect the debt of all you people on this planet using magic. So it's like this big world event. Riot Quest is a Saturday morning cartoonified version of a timeline where that all went badly. So Riot Quest is actually post-apocalyptic, but with the theme, also the tone of a Saturday morning cartoon show. I love it. It's so dissonant. Aaron, 2021's likely going to be another lost year. Yeah, as far as, like, big convention stuff, I don't think 2021's a big convention year. I think 2021 at best is low-key, kind of localized convention gatherings, done very carefully. Ransom for Soto sticker stream. Yeah, I want to do that. I forgot I want to do that. I have all the I have the Kashins all in a stack next to me. I gotta remember to do one of those. Ben Walters FedEx would put my package in the garage. I thought you said in the garbage for a second. I was like, that's worse. Garage is what you wrote. Any new Lego? No, I've been off buying Lego for a few years because I have so much of it unbuilt. It's unhealthy for me to keep buying Lego. I just stack it up. I'm off that stuff for now. Aiden Reed, 2021's the recovery year. Correct. Well, this is my slight pessimism I always have. 2021 should be the recovery year. I think there are a lot of entities that are kind of like, no. So, you know, we'll see. But 2021 should be the recovery year. Sorry, I'm getting already a little zoned out in my painting zone. In my puzzone, as you might say. I went out of the lines. Get it out of there. Get it out. Thank you. So on James, I'm trying to go for, without referencing any actual materials how to do it, I decided I want to try to go for a little bit of that non-metallic metallic. So I'm trying to do her highlight in kind of like light-oriented blocks. And like, we'll see how that turns out, right? I was messing around. That's the other fun thing about Riot Quest, is like, because they're all sort of character models, you can kind of just like do stuff on them, and it doesn't have to match up regimentally with anything else, because Riot Quest is like a character team game. So the more that an individual model sticks out, kind of, I think, the better. Another block of this way. Edge, highlight across the top like that. Boom! Look at us doing things. Hanging out. I also thought, because I was like, last night I was taking measures to make sure I fell asleep before, like, daylight. And I thought, if I wake up, like, before noon, it'd be fun to do, like, a kind of early day, early afternoon stream. And ideally, like, make some time for folks in other time zones. Ben Walters, your birthday is in 2 weeks. 14-day pre-congratulations. Robot Lorekeeper. Wahoo! It is that time again. I said what for the VOD, because I don't know if it's saving the chat. I couldn't get the chat to like turn back on the VOD in the last one when I went to look at it. But that wahoo was written by Robot Lorekeeper. That was not a spontaneous wahoo from me. I don't know why I'm clarifying that as though someone is about to go like, "Sir, I noticed you spontaneously wahooed in that one stream. I'm from Nintendo, and you owe us money now." It's like, no, Nintendo, leave me alone. I was just reading the chat. You can't sue me for reading the chat. I said the person's name. Go sue them. I'd never narc one of you out to Nintendo. I'd come up with cover stories. Transmech534, speaking of the time zone, shout out from Ireland. Shout out to you, Ireland! Ireland! I don't know why I'm doing that with Ireland. Shout out to you, Ireland. Gushers114, would I ever stream myself adding touch-ups? I'm legit, I'm not really comfortable, like, painting toys with moving parts. I'd like to get more comfortable with it. I always look at stuff that, like, Grimlockamus does, and I'm like, man, that's cool. I'm just, like, this might just be like a psychological thing for me. I'm real hung up on the part where it's like, but how do I deal with the hinges? And like, I've asked Grimlockamus, and Grimlockamus is just like, I don't. Like, if the paint comes off, it comes off. And I'm like, that's so much healthier than my mindset of like, how do I make it perfect? And I don't know how to overcome the how do I make it perfect yet. And, like, I know some of those touch-ups are on bits that aren't going to be, like, moving, like, just on sculpted stuff, but, like, it's my brain, y'all. My brain's a problem. That's not a healthy thing to say. Don't say that about your own brain. I'm not an example here. Except maybe an example of what not to do. Oh! Going over all the nice black I laid down for the metallics. Come on. Ben Walter, shout out from USA, Virginia. Oh, Gushers, yeah, I mean, another thing I would not be able to really offer easily are, like, pointers, because I'm real amateur hour myself. Me painting these minis, like, when I stream it, it's kind of, in part, sharing some of the journey of discovery that I'm on. What I would say is, like, painting with Sharpies and stuff, as someone who was doing that for ages with model kits, it is good to eventually, like, get out of the comfort zone and start at least, like, something I did early on was with Gundam markers. You get yourself a little palette, either like a piece of plastic card, or even like if you can find like a bubble from packaging and like get one that's kind of flat, take a Gundam marker and pump out a little puddle, because you know, you pump the marker, that looks terrible. If you pump the marker, that looks even worse. But you know, if you pump the marker and make a little puddle, and then get some really cheap disposable brushes, you can start like painting the Gundam marker stuff on with a little bit more accuracy and getting a little bit more practice. But the thing with Gundam markers is that they're enamels, which are also just scarier paint to work with than acrylics. So it's like a kind of a way you can transition through, but eventually, like, it's a lot less stressful to paint with acrylics because they're water-based, so it's not like enamels where it like could just be binding with the plastic top layers, and you know, it's like, oh, I gotta do this right the first time. That stuff always freaks me out. I saw something about the Pokemon TCG situation, with big box stores not selling them because of scalpers and everything. Waspinator's left knee, I like the fat one with the axe. I do too. He's got a nice sculpt. He's got a good belly sculpt. Yes, that sucked to read. Like, I don't really have much to do with Pokemon, full stop. But it's adjacent to interests of mine, and obviously I have friends who are into it. And I think that really sucks. I think it sucks, the state of trading card games, because I genuinely love the good part of trading card games, which you can't really get from other games, which is the, you know, kind of the fun of, I'm gonna get some packs and my friend's gonna get some packs. We're gonna do some sealed, slam these packs together. The actual, like, I want to make constructed decks and collect cards to do so thing, I think is sort of a lot better to do with LCGs or box games, because eventually it's just like, well, if I want to hang in this tournament, I'm supposed to go and get, you know, cards X, Y, and Z, and that sort of sucks. But like, the sealed aspect and the casual aspect of it is so fun, and it doesn't exist anywhere else really. But inevitably, trading card games come with the baggage of all the BS, you know, all like this, in this case of the Pokemon games, you get these, it sounds like you in part get a lot of like some influencers with too much money and no sense, propping up a ridiculous aftermarket that, you know, investors then glom onto. And all due respect, I don't think very highly of trading card game investors as a practice. I appreciate it if it's like, I buy a box to keep in a closet now and then, and it's a casual thing, but like the friggin' dudes with pallets of booster boxes that they intend to keep like in a warehouse for 10 years in the hopes that the things, and that they refer to them as their profile, you know, not their portfolio. You see my portfolio of sealed Pokemon? It's like, bothers me. It bothers me the same way that people wanting to buy toys for the investment bothers me. And it bothers me more that the siren is outside, because clearly there's some Pokemon TCG dealings going on down the street, you know what I mean? It bothers me because I think it goes against the greater thesis statement of what those games are meant to be. And it bothers me when, like, you know, also when you get like a Wizards of the Coast who leans in on that stuff. I think it's wholly toxic to the long-term growth and community growth of your game. I don't see any way that you defensively do that stuff without telling your community, like, yeah, you all come second. FYI. I've been looking at my model the whole time, so I don't know if I'm like making people real mad when I'm saying all that. I've never played the Pokemon game. I don't know if there is like a great love for the gameplay of it. This is like what happened with the Digimon TCG. There's like a new Digimon TCG, right? Or new-ish. And like no one can get into it because friggin' investor hopefuls like bought out the starter decks or something. I heard this from a friend of mine. It's ridiculous. What do you think of the new leaks for Transformers After Kingdom? It's like those levels of leaks are all like, well, that stuff sounds interesting, but because I have no idea what it looks like, the way I am now, I'm like, I don't really have much to say, because like It's like those, like any Transformers concept is cool, and then you see how the figures turn out, and then the whole conversation you had about the concept stops mattering. So I don't like putting too much energy into it. Like, I like the Stunticons. If they're doing Stunticons, that makes me happy that they're doing Stunticons. But that's really about it. Ben Walters, I do have Kingdom Air Razor. She is great. Gushers114, thanks for the advice. It's actually rather helpful. Mostly use the Sharpies because if you mess up, you can use a toothpick to scrape off your errors. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with paint and paint brands and like paint tools. That's also like a thing I learned over time, is there is no right one. And if you're if you're able to experiment with a lot of stuff, it's only for the better. The bummer with doing it with like Gunpla or Transformers or anything that's like kind of pricey is you also get the feeling of like, well, I gotta do it right on this, because otherwise I have to get another one. So it is also good to like get some like, you know, dollar store knockoffs or just like cheap junker pieces and practice on those, which, by the way, I never did, and I should have. But that's a really good piece of advice I read elsewhere. It's like basically building up your confidence with the materials. Waspinner's Lefty, completely new and really fun. I guess you mean the Digimon TCG. Chris Muse ran a kids league for many years. I guess Pokemon and the young people bring a lot of fun to it. Action Figure Expert, what's up? Hello. I'm doing okay. Martin Pye, more dead end. Hey. Gusser's shout out from meme capital of the city, Ohio, USA. Woo woo. Oh what? Oh, I thought you were doing an oh whoa. No, it split your text face across a line break on my screen. Thanks, YouTube. Actually, your expert, there's like a chance there might be combiner overkill. If the rumors of how they're doing that Menasor are true, where they're doing it like Studio Series Devastator style, I don't think overkill is going to be a problem, because it's going to be like, yeah, this Menasor will take like a year to come out because we're spreading it, you know, over actual whatever. If they actually do a ton of combiners, like I'd personally be fine with it, but that's because I got major combiner bias. Like, I liked all of Combiner Wars conceptually, and I like really liked that they were doing, I always called it like Action Master-ish, like base buck bodies for a lot of G1 Season 1 characters, but as combiners, and like I really dig that stuff. So with full bias, I'd be like, well, I'd be fine with that. But I know a lot of people would be real like, oh my god. Because it would also then make a lot of people have to like realize, hey, Combiner Wars was like over 5 years ago. Which I still don't accept. It's a very cool new toy line, that Combiner Wars. Really looking forward to doing more videos out of that Combiner Wars, those fresh new toys. Altais and Vice! I'm painting some Riot Quest. I know it's kind of like the rote thing for me, but I like these models. Martin Pye, what's the beverage situation where I am today? I got me some of that Cola Zero with an ice cube. Do I have Bumblebee movie Starscream? I do not. I'm not sure if that's out at the online Canadian spots where I can hopefully get it on sale. I was talking about this on a Discord somewhere. I forgot which one. It might have been, I can't remember which one. But like, once I got Studio Series Jeep B, Blitzwing, and Devastator, my brain went like, man, what a great finale for Studio Series. And I know it's not done, and I'm gonna end up probably picking up some of the other ones. But it deactivated my need to like continue trying to grab Studio Series stuff like new. I gotta move up above the waist now. I think we've done everything I'm gonna do below the waist on James here. The thing that does excite me that I've heard about Bumblebee movie Starscream Studio Series is that there's like borderline nothing actually shared with Blitzwing. Like, it is, they look like there should be a lot shared, but like actually almost nothing is apparently, and I think that's really cool. Aaron, it's like 10 to 25% shared. Yeah, like apparently even the gun is different, which I think is super neat. Yeah, Jeshamon Volker, it's like, I think there's sort of not a hard divide, but I think there is like a demographic of collectors that I am a part of, where we're always like, we're all like, yeah, you know, we need more variants and Transformers, more options, more original stuff. Like, yes, please, more. And then the moment they say combiners, we're also like, also, yeah, I mean, you could also redo all of Scramble City again. I mean, like, I wouldn't be against rebuying like even more brand new Scramble City style combiners. Like, yeah, go for it. Like another, I'd love to have like an 8th Bruticus. I'm down. I'm not really sure how I'd apply my metallics idea on some of these surfaces, so I am kind of just like hitting high spots for now. Like James's legs, these are shapes where I'm like, I can see the sheen of the light. Yeah, this is gonna be great. Then I get up here where it's all greebly and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah. Why am I doing this? Wait, why am I doing this the hard way? I have friggin'... Come on, man. I'm sitting here like, whoa, my left hand's getting tired from holding this big round base, and it's like, friggin', use your paint handle then, you peanut. Oh yeah, I gotta do the fingers on this hand. Another thing I've been finding from streaming painting is it's for whatever reason, you know, like the stream performance, whatever. It's kind of making me want to make decisions faster in a healthy way, of like, just put the paint there and see what happens and don't worry about it. Lorenz Retiro, good morning to you. Hello, welcome. Martin Pie, you gotta take off. No worries. Pizza's, yo, I would leave for pizza. No worries. There's gonna be a VOD of this up afterwards. It's all good. Yeah, just Shimon, I think Off-Road's not showing up again. Elson Quizmorio, what's for dinner? I don't know. It's like lunchtime here. I'm in the Eastern North American time zone. Chris Muse, most interested in the prospective new Cyberverse stuff. Yeah, I just want to know what it is. Like, that's the kind of fun thing about new Cyberverse things, is like, it's not rote. Like, other than like the whole thing where apparently it's like, well, also it's Dinobots, and it's like, okay, it's probably gonna mostly just be Dinobots as far as like toys I'm interested in. But it's an exciting unknown, which I should qualify. Cyberverse is also like evergreen G1 at the end of the day, and a lot of its look, at least, not necessarily in its storytelling, but in a lot of its look. So it's like, it is kind of messed up that like, I'm like, this great grand unknown of probably G1 looking Dinobots. I'm not gonna like be all negative. I'm just like, I should probably qualify that part. You know, state the thing that should be stated. I mean, my hands were getting tired from holding this big round base, just this big thick round. It's all, I could barely fit my fingers around it. It was so massive and bulging. This brush is starting to get a bit too big for what I want to do here on the head. Hang on. We're gonna This is another piece of growth for me. I'm actually going to switch brushes. I had a brush hair splitting off there, so I used my mouth to straighten it. Talked about this last stream too. I'm a mouth brush person, and I don't think anyone really can judge me. You know? Some of y'all put things in your mouth and you chew on them and swallow them. So, like, friggin' check yourself. Lorenz Retiro, I should put that out today. I keep not noticing the time pass. I think I have to, like, fix the front and back of that one. That's all on me. Yeah, I just want to get these hair blades brought up a little bit. By the way, the rationale for all the parts that are black on these is that's where I'm going to put some of that Vallejo real metal, dark aluminum. And James technically could just be, like, all metallic, but I want to try mixing it up on her. I think that would be more interesting. Oh, you can even notice that in the view on here. Sonia Pereira, hello. Altais and Vice, yeah, I think painting is super chill. Much like doing some of the solo board gaming I've been doing, one of the nice things about painting, albeit, you know, not when you're streaming necessarily, even then though, is inherently it's an engagement for my brain where I'm looking at physical objects, and doing, you know, motor actions. And it's kind of nice because it's, you know, then if I spend, like, you know, 2 hours poking at painting some models, I didn't spend 2 hours, like, you know, staring at my monitor that I already stare at all the time anyway. And I'm not trying to get into the whole, like, put your phone downs, like, you know, nonsense, but it's just healthier, I think, for my eyes to have some leisure activities that are not digital-based. But that still, like, give me, like, some of the satisfactions I get from digital-based stuff. Like, solo board gaming absolutely gives me that gameplay satisfaction feeling I get from video games. And it's nice to get that without needing video games to do it. It's another option, basically. Jeshamon Volcats gets stand because his arm is tired holding figure, then proceeds to hold the stand. It's my fingers that were tired, which admittedly are, you know, holding this thing. Yeah. No, I see what you mean. Yeah, I'm doing this. Look, it's different though, because there's mass here, you know, and I can do that too, and then, you know, I can switch it up. Seth looks. None of these are Space Marines. You gotta get caught up in the new edition, my man. Elson Kuzmorio, what do you think of Titan class Arc and Teletran 1? I think they look fun. I think Arc looks fun. Especially in that he's an Arc that turns into a robot and that's all he does. I think it's a nice change of pace to have a Titan figure that's not trying to do a bunch of simultaneous things. Although I totally agree, like, that's part of the draw of Titans is that you're getting, like, that much bang for your buck. But I think the Arc is stronger for just being the Arc that turns into a robot. And And, like, the Teletran thing is just a chunk that you can leave in him the whole time. So I think it's neat. Did I watch The Mitchells versus the Machines? I have not. I've only heard that name a billion times. Ben Walters, how's Battlemaster Rung? His face sculpt is incredible. If you can get him for retail, he's worth it for the face sculpt and the paint job on the face. It's really crisp. I gotta do her actual face. I was doing the hair first. I gotta... lift up some of this stuff. I just really hope that the Teletran piece comes out in selects in Action Master colors for mainframe as well. Because I feel like, not to be all like we're owed anything, because we're not, but specifically when you do Action Master characters, the rare times it even happens, you gotta do them in the Action Master colors too. Like you're throwing a bone to one of the niches in the fandom even to this day. Like, come on, y'all. Ooh, look at that, look at that. We got a face happening. Alright, that's the Pale Sand levels done on James. Maybe I will carry on to another one. This is kind of... I was like, we should get some more satisfying looking levels on these three, but also I kind of want to just keep doing my thing, so what are you going to do about it? You're going to be all like, oh, he painted that belly. Yes, yes, please. Yes, please, more. That's what you're going to do. Jishimon, you have the orange rung and the neon rung that came with spoiler magnets. They're both fantastic. I want to get that neon rung. I just don't want to actually buy the spoiler box. Lawrence, thoughts on a Transformers movie focused on one team without any of the core characters? Yeah, I mean, like, in a way, I think even though it is about Bumblebee, one could look at the Bumblebee movie as, like, just a small cast Transformers film. And, you know, see some of the value in there. I think also one can look at Bumblebee and like, see the value in doing a Transformers movie that, even if it is kind of like doing a rote story, is also just, like, a good kids movie. And by good, I mean, like, not, like, world-changingly good, but just, like, you know, it's a solid, fun little adventure that is not harmful, and I think one can enjoy. And I think that's what I want out of Transformers movies. I want them to be harmless adventures. Because mostly due to the stature of the brand, to use some disgusting words, I don't think a Transformers film is likely to, like, break new ground in positive ways. I think that really the thing to pursue and champion is for a Transformers film to, like, to not be insulting to your intelligence, basically. Not even to your intelligence, not to be insulting to the intelligence and needs of kids. And also have people who get popped like grapes. Because you gotta have that little bit of horror, right, for the children's. How's Unicron doing today? He's all right. He's standing in my hall in front of my door. Any news on Kingdom Terrorsaur? I don't remember if Kingdom... I think Terrorsaur is a name that's popped up in enough places, and there's a bunch of Pteranodon-looking things on the box art that, like, is pretty much like they're probably doing Terrorsaur. But no official stuff yet. And a lot of other people are better at the leak list stuff than I am. I get annoyed keeping up with it because there's no pictures. Well, to be fair, I also get annoyed keeping up with it because there's, like, odd levels of, like, clout salt involved with the leak lists. And I've always been of the opinion that, like, clout for leaks is meaningless. Because whatever you did has no value as soon as official photos show up. It's not like I'm, like, against leaks, I should also add. I just realized it might sound like that. I'm not like, they shouldn't be leaking this stuff. It is morally terrible. It's like, Hasbro's a big-ass corporation that can, you know... Hasbro is a big, grown-up corporation that can make its own coffee and put on its own pants. It's just like, miss me with the stuff of like, did you hear which leak crew has gotten the hottest scoop? It's like, little leak crew. As far as I've heard, they're just disparate Facebook groups and Discord channels. Your Vangelis burned his bridges with all the leak crews that could have been getting him the freshest leaks. Ah, I played myself. I'm never going to be the one who reveals the Menasor. I will be a mere consumer watching other people's leaks. Like a leech. Hell yeah, I'll leech your leaks. Ew. Gross! Who said that? Sorry, I get really zoned in when there's like big, thick pants creases, because like it's real straightforward what you're supposed to paint, and I get into that. I said I should switch to my slightly bigger one, because we got that belly coming up. We got it, boys, he said, Menasor. Premium leak influencers. Like, obviously leaks have a use. I've been informed the use of leaks to just, like, the average fan is, like, for folks who want to be really particular with their purchases, it is helpful to know what's coming years ahead. As far as, like, whether one wants to interact with stuff that came out years prior. Like, I get that. I think there is a certain level where one should, like, be careful about that, because it's pretty easy to, like, never want to engage with anything because you're aware of other things coming out many years down the line. And at a certain point, it's like, well, you're never gonna be ahead of the leaks as far as your purchases. Nebulos! I'm glad you're finally catching one of these. Art House Transformer Cinema do a Soundwave movie, but it's Sophie's Choice where he has to make a decision on rib for rear fib. Chris Muse, if he did the wrong decision, I would friggin' leave the fandom. Elson Quizmorio, did you get hyped at all with the recent Macross Robotech news on the settled rights disputes? I know you like them missile spams. Not like hyped, because we still have to see what any of it amounts to. Also not hyped because it sounds like Harmony Gold is happy with it, and Harmony Gold don't deserve to be happy. That was cruel. That was a cruel thing to say. So hopefully it turns out to be cool stuff. Like, I'm not gonna get super hung up on the Harmony Gold aspect of it, like, after, you know, if friggin' Do You Remember Love gets a domestic Blu-ray release in North America, I'm gonna be like, hooray, yes, we won. But it's not, I am never gonna be like, thank goodness Harmony Gold came to their senses and decided to play ball and still make money off all this. Like, Harmony Gold do not deserve to be making money off all this. But if we benefit as people who like Macross, then, you know, we still benefit. We're just not going to be all like, hooray, Harmony Gold. It's just like, hey, Harmony Gold, If Harmony Gold comes to you know, my door and says, "Hey, I just want to know, hi, I'm John Harmony Gold." Yes, it's weird how I have the same name as the guy who runs Hasbro, John Hasbro. Do you thank me for this Blu-ray release? I'd be like, "John Harmony Gold, don't come into my apartment, but here, come a bit closer." And then I'd sneeze into his mouth and close the door. Angela's burning bridges. He's never gonna get the Robotech press releases. Don't come to this channel looking for the first look at the trailer of the Robotech movie. I'll tell you that much, this friggin' nerd. I also just want to point out, I'm trying real hard to respect the belly rolls on this fella, because they sculpted all of them in, and I want to make sure they get proper, you know, highlighting. Sean Crosser, just hand me the Blu-rays and leave. And yeah, they're doing like Robotech NFTs and like, who? For who? What friggin' pyramid scheme convinced tech bro follower is like, damn, can't wait to bid on those hot fresh Robotech non-fungible tokens. This guy in painting, he does not have a beard. I should hold him up closer. He just has a big collar. So he's not a robot. He's got big industrial bondage necklace. Each grease-layered crease has its own story that deserves to be told. Correct, Jeshamon Volkerts. Yeah, Nebulos, like, it's all about it's supposed to, like, those NFTs are all about this resale. Crypto is all about this resale thing, and every time I see it, I'm just like, to who? And, like, I know there's actual answers to that, but all the answers just, to me, make it sound even more like a pyramid scheme. Can you imagine when we're all back at conventions again, when you see the guy with a booth in the dealer room who's trying to, like, in-person sell his NFTs to people? He's like, I got the blockchain pulled up on my laptop right here. It's all going to be above board. Sure thing, pal. I'm so hyped to purchase these fancy receipts. Yeah, flipping houses. Yeah, Nebulous flipping houses.jpg by killing the planet. Like, I have mutuals I've seen, like, doing the crypto thing, and I'm like, listen, if you think you can figure it out, as long as you are treating it like the silly casino game it is, then I guess. I've played a slot machine. You know, I know the draw, but never try to convince me that stuff is, like, somehow greater than burning money and occasionally spits more little monies out the ash box. Chris Muse, I was on eBay the other day looking for a figurine of Mojo Jojo, and someone is selling NFTs of Powerpuff Girls characters sculpted in a CG render, and I have no idea what the appeal is supposed to be! For a second while I was reading that, I thought, like, well, I mean, if there's little sculpts with NFTs attached to them, the sculpts are worth something, but then and then it's like CG render, and it's like... That sounds like a knock against CG renders. It is not. CG renders are legitimate good artwork, but NFTs are not. NFTs are fancy receipts. Genevieve posted about the Robotech ones, and I was like, Because they use some phrasing, like there was like exciting, bold, new, attractive NFTs or something, and I was like, yeah, I'm just over at the NFT store, like with my face pressed up against the window, like, oh, look at all these receipts. Oh, Seth, I mean, I saw SNL, like, you know, that show was fun before, but that show was from the 90s. Like, I always see people talking about SNL, and I'm like, look, I'm glad you all got DVD box sets, but at some point, like, watch some new shows. Holy moly. You believe Vangelis burned his bridges with Saturday Night Live, he's never gonna get the... This is not the channel to come to for Saturday Night Live reveals, apparently. I feel like I should clarify, that little, like, weird straw man character I've invented is not based on any actual event that happened to me. I think it's funny, that's all. I have never, in fact, been singled out as a poor source for something because I burned a bridge. People don't assume I'm a source for anything. Yeah, Sean Crosser, you can spend the same money to commission art from your friends, and they're not having to power a small town to print you off a blockchain receipt. But I mean, you all know this already. Like, it's... I don't mean to do preach... I don't actually mean to do all this, like, preach to the choir stuff, you know. I don't think anyone watching this stream is like, damn, time to return all my NFTs. I didn't realize. I thought these were art. Seth, you're stealing another person's tweet. You can't do that. DMCA. Seth wrote out that silly man on Twitter who was like, grown men playing with toys in this day and age. Hey, reactionary lady I like, what do you think about this? Nebulous, not a source for anything. I just bought Earthrise Optimus because of you, it's your fault. But I burned my bridges! I've covered my tracks! You can't prove any links between me and the Transformers. The Transformers are dangerous, haven't you seen? They brought their millennia-long civil war to this, our planet. They aren't to be trusted. I would never recommend the Transformers. They're dangerous. Just realizing also, this is all a really weird way to talk after, like, just a few minutes. How long have I been streaming? Just, like, about under an hour ago, I was talking about how I need to film a Hasbro press box that I got. But you know what? Every single time I talk about one of those, I waive their NDA, not NDA, I waive their, whatever, the FCC form they send you, and I wave it around on the camera and spend more time making jokey jokes about it than whatever's actually in the box. And they don't seem to mind. What I'm trying to say is, I got big Hasbro in my pocket. Chris means, do you have any fancy receipts for your burned bridges? Otherwise, the bridges could still be there. I don't know. Oh, Seth, you're getting your second vax. Congrats. Have a good one. Take care of that arm. I got friends upstairs in this building I live in who are getting their vaxes done today, and I'm very happy for them. Well, their first vaxes. I talked about this last stream, and I don't want to make this super heavy for everyone, but, like, in Canada, we have, like, a multi-month long wait between shots because of supply issues. So here in Canada, like, first vax shot is good. It is a thing to be like, hell yeah. But it's not like, man, can't wait to imminently be fully vaccinated. Because you're not. Yeah, Nebulos, I got my first shot on May 3rd, and my second shot is, like, on August 23rd. So, in the bigger picture, I am really happy that I have what I would call forward-moving progress. But it also means, like, you know, I'm not, like, gonna be relaxed for the whole summer. I'm gonna be eagerly hoping that those timelines get moved up for the whole summer. Highlighting this big man's big meaty fingers he's got around his big meaty axe. That's what we're doing here. Want to do something about it? You gonna try to stop me? You can't. I'm already doing it. I did it 5 minutes ago. I'm Adrian Veidt. And this is my squid monster. Chris Muse, you're 1 year too young to get yours yet. I hate that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Ben Walters, can you open your Hasbro box on stream? I could film the B-roll on stream at least. I was debating whether to do that box as a live stream or not. And I was like, I feel like as a live stream it probably won't be as entertaining to watch, because at end of the day it's a box with like 4 toys and some art prints and a DVD set. So I'm not sure like if there's really bits to do. But I'd absolutely be down for, like, you know, kind of showing you what's in it anyway. Doing some fun talky talks. "100%, I fully also got that content creator brain rot where I was like, oh, everyone's already seen this box. How many weeks has it been since I did my rant about how I hate the word content? I can't remember. I should say since I last did my... I do that thing like every other week. It's not aggro at any people. I just think it's... I really don't like that content is the word that the general lexicon has kind of settled upon. It's not even for, like, personal reasons. It is, but it's in a bigger picture, because I think it promotes the stuff that leads to, like, you know, like, video game streamers feeling the urge to have to release, like, daily videos and stuff. It leads to burnout, because it inherently devalues the piece that someone makes, even if it's, like, something as simple as, like, you know, 40 minutes of gameplay in an 8-hour video game or something. The word content is designed to devalue the work a person put into something they thought was cool. And no one using it is trying to devalue it anymore. Like, I think I'm on the losing side of this argument. But like that word I think was seeded into the public mindset in a kind of gross way. And at this point, it's like, it is kind of too late. All I have left to do is to just grumble about it now and then. Well, that, and also, the thing I can do is I never refer to anything I make as content. I don't want to contribute to it. Sean Cross, you've been against the word for ages. Yeah, I keep going on about it. RG1 Studios took your recommendation from the last stream and got Cyclonus. Good figure, great transformation. Gave me an urge to get SS86 Scourge. It's worth it, I think. If you like Cyclonus, Scourge is not like as amazing as Cyclonus, but they go together so well. It's not even a personal thing. It is, but he lied as easily as he breathed. You got me, Jeshamon. Sean Crosser, calling entertainment content is like calling toys objects. Yeah, it's like calling food sustenance, you know? To me, that's the one I always go to. Nebulos, it's like fast food buzzwords, yeah. And yeah, Sean Crosser, it's part of contemporary lexicon now. Like, it's... You can't make it go away. It's a word people use in good faith now. And it's not like it has, like, a monstrous etymology. It just has, like, to me, a depressing etymology. And, like, I should say, I'm not gonna, like, friggin' yell at someone if they say, hey, I like your content. Like, I've had that happen in person. Someone said, man, I love your content. And I've, like, winced a little bit. But it's not that person's problem. It's my problem. I will never get aggro at you if you're like, hey, I love you as a content creator, man. Because usually you're not saying it like as some kind of neg. If you are, it's probably going to be super obvious, and, like, you know, that'll be a different conversation. That'll be like, hey, listen. Have you heard of vocal tone? Oh, let's do this. Let's keep going. My pale sand is still wet on the palette. The paint I'm using, sicko. I like this model a lot. Like, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. That's why I want to just get painting on it, is, like, I want to have something coalesce together. Yeah, Hidden Elephant, it kind of loses its meaning. It's like... I actually didn't have a point to make. It is losing its meaning. RG1 Studios, every time you hear me say content, you're taking back to one of those TCG streams where I wrote content on cardboard pieces. I still got those somewhere. I don't remember where I put them. Hidden Elephant, why are you painting parts of your minis pale? So, on these Riot Quest models, I'm going for the underpainting approach on a lot of their pieces. That's something that the best videos you can watch about underpainting, Dana Howell has a really good video or two on underpainting. And basically it means you can do a lot of the grunt work of painting without also having to worry about color. And then once you have, like, just a nice looking monotone mini, you can start doing, like, glazes and washes over it to tint it, as opposed to, like, doing layered painting. And I found I prefer that painting style anyway. Like, when I was really getting back into mini painting, I was using, let me just grab one. I was using a lot of these Army Tone, Army Painter Quick Shade tones, because these over primer are pretty strong. Like, this is before contrast paints from Citadel, even. And I like painting that way because I feel like I'm slowly building up what I want to do without, like, over-committing, in a way. It's just it's my comfort zone. Nebulos, this is a machine gone acolyte. No, this is Dr. Stygius. He's actually just a very helpful octopus doctor man. Action figure expert, I love your content. Thank you. What if we fold in actors as content creators? That would be depressing. Yeah, Chris Muse, it's like, as a broad blanket term, it's like, it's fine. It's just, yeah, it's weird when you're like, look at that content. It sounds like, it always sounds like someone forcing a word to happen to me. Jeshamon, backing the Modern Wars, your review of Alpha Bravo convinced you that the new guys were cool in their own right. Hell yeah! Wow, Tom Hanks, it's such an honor to meet you. You're my favorite content creator. Yeah, Sean Crosser. I'm saying all your names. I should mention this again. I don't know. I set this thing to keep the chat in the archive, but I didn't see the chat in the archive of the last stream. So I want to give credit where credit's due. I don't want to, like, just start stealing all your quotes and, like, going like, ah, look at this clever thing I said. No, I don't want to moderate. Sorry, this is from the last stream, too. I was scrolling in the chat. My finger hovered over someone long enough, it brought up the moderation menu. And I'm like, I don't want to friggin' silence this person. No, thank you. Oh, Oh, hidden elephant. Dry brushing is not like worse than this. I like dry brushing too, actually. Like doing like lots and lots of minor dry brush layers. And I was doing that on the Rumble Slam starter minis from that game. But with like with these, I'm wanting to also try this out just to open my horizons to more options. But dry brushing is also like I painted a lot of orcs when I was a teenager, space orcs. Like dry brushing is a good place. Nebulous Tom Hanks isn't the creator, he's a content component. No, yeah, he's a director, so he's a creator and component. Chris Muse, actors will become just content once they figure out how to use more of them digitally without them being there. If you want to get into the full dystopian... If you want to go full dystopian... Oh man, Elson Quizmorio, the company I work for used to refer to me as a reporter journalist, but now the internal term is content producer! Oh! You feel like you lost your identity, but at the same time some freedom was given to me. I can see that, yeah, like that makes sense to me. But that would make me really wince. Especially, like, I used to over-conflate internet creation with, like, legitimate journalism in a really ignorant way, and I was educated otherwise. And so, after having gone through that, I could see a lot of journalists being, like, friggin', let's just say, miffed at being referred to like that. Clean. Jeshamon, a full-on Gem of the Holograms future dystopia where all the pretty pop stars are holographic skins over schlubby guys named Tim or Bosco. I feel like that exists in fiction already. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm not thinking of Sharon Apple, I should say. I'm not thinking of the Macross version. Viper Taha, if you're satisfied with what you're making, would that make you a content creator? It just makes you a satisfied creator of media. Like, this is my thing. I think the term media maker or creator, like, I like the term creator. I think that's a really nice way to kind of put on a pedestal slightly the act of making media. And I think it's good to put that on a pedestal slightly, because a lot of the time when you make something, it inherently comes with not like full-on imposter syndrome, but it inherently comes with a sense of like, oh, but I'm probably faking it. Like, across the board, I find that tends to be the case. It's like, yeah, I made this thing, and it's not all that great, but, you know, I made it, and I kind of like it. Like, that kind of attitude. So I like the term creator, because it sort of, it adds something else to that. It's like, no, you created this. You didn't make a stupid thing. You created a thing, stupid or not. I think that's good for the, to prop up the act, in a way. But then you get to content creator, and it's like, okay, it's like you prop up the act, but then you kind of diminish the value of what was made in the same breath, in my opinion. And not you as the person saying it, but you as the the greater media entities that I think made a concerted effort to get that language out there. Chris Muse, take it easy! If you're still here and heard that. Oh, Nebulos, you're right. I missed the whole... That was actually more clever. A content creator, because you're content with what you're making. That was... Oh, boy. Hi, everyone. What's up? I don't understand puns. I really want to try... I wish I understood how to try VTubing. That sounds really fun. It looks really fun. Hidden Elephant is making you want to paint your Monsterpocalypse minis. Today's schedule involves finishing a webcomic page. That's still important. But also here, let me make... Look, it's a Monsterpocalypse mini I've been trying to work on. I haven't worked on this for a couple weeks. I don't know what I want to do from this point onwards, but... Ooh, you could be making some of this stuff. Ooh. Lego King 99 GB1. These are not Warhammer figs. These are Privateer Press Riot Quest minis, but a lot of the science is the same. Yo, Nebulos, there's a whole faction in Monsterpocalypse that are basically like Ghidorahs, but heroic space Ghidorahs. I'm having another sip. Hidden Elephant found Gallamaxis to be a pain, primed mine all black and forgot what the details were. That's my problem when I do a solid prime. I only prime Zenithal now, in part because if I don't prime Zenithal, I don't know where to start. Like, finding out about Zenithal priming was revelatory to me. On Gallamaxis, I should say, like, what I did on this Gallamaxis is this was a Zenithal prime, and then I went over the whole thing in Army Painter Purple Tone Quick Shade, and then I went over these darker bits with the blue Games Workshop shade. Not Agrax Earth shade, not Nuln Oil, the third one. Something Nightshade, I think, the blue one. And so this is kind of also why I like to like do stuff over stuff like Zenithal or this Underpainting, is when you do just inks over it, you get this result, which is already fine. I just want to do some more to it. I want to get some of that object source lighting going in the two organic turbine laser things here on his back. Oh, you have to brush prime. Okay, I hear you. One thing that might work, because I did this before I knew what Zenithal priming was on a couple Crix models, is I primed them black, and then I did like a top-down dry brush in like some kind of off-gray colors, and I think if you like did that, then a lighter top-down dry brush in white. Like I did it because, like again, I was priming black these Crix models. And then I was like, I don't know where any of the detail is. And I was getting really freaked out about, like, missing stuff. And so I did some dry brushes over them. And I never went back to finish them up. But just doing the dry brushes, I was like, wait, this is actually kind of cool. Because I'm sort of soft highlighting and everything, and I'm able to see more of what's going on. Purple Heart, what's more worth it to you, Seacons or Omega Supreme? I don't know. I don't have either of them. And I want both of them, and now that I've missed both of them and want both of them, it's too expensive to get both of them, so I don't know what to do. So on Omega Supreme, I was like, man, I can't drop 250 Canadian plus tax on a Transformer right now. That's alright, I'm sure I can get them on sale. And then I missed all the sales, because a lot of them were in-person sales at Toys R Us's here, and I never saw one at a Toys R Us. And then Scorponok came out. I never saw one in person because I was during early lockdown. And again, I was like, well, I don't want to pay $250 in tax for them. That's a lot. And so now I'm like, because I've messed with the two of them when I shot the Repro Labels Toy Hacks promos. I messed with theirs to shoot those, and I was like, damn, these are way better than a lot of the other Titans. So I maybe like when it went up on EB Games, I might have like knee-jerk pre-ordered Black Zarak because I'm like, I want one of these. And with EB Games, like, I have the Edge membership, so eventually when I can go to one in person, I could get, like, 10% off of it after the fact. And thus I would satisfy my need for sales. Because that would be, like, you know, 20-some bucks off. He's getting a little bit streaky. Adam Midolinsky, Zenithal Prime, not heard of that Transformer before. Has this gag been done yet? It has, but I still think it's cool. Yeah, Jeshamon, like, I would like both sets of Seacons, but and they're not expensive enough that, like, I think they're not possible, like, if you start digging around Mandarake and stuff, but like, I've also, like, seen how they turned out, and I think they turned out well, but they also turned out in a way where I'm like, I don't really want to, like, drop a premium on those when there's so many other things I'm interested in as well. Like, if I could have bought them at a store, I would have on site. But that's also my buyer's psychology. Yeah, Purple Heart, it looks like the Omega reissue came out. I just hope that somehow makes it to me in a way where I wouldn't have to pay shipping from the States, because that would definitely make it cost at least 250 Canadian dollars. If not that, plus also an expensive shipping cost from the States. Sean Crosser, didn't realize SSB movie Starscream exists and is already released. Yeah, I think it was supposed to come out in the, like, closer to the summer, but I just said that and realized we are now closer to the summer. So I guess this is when he's supposed to come out. Supposed to come out closer to the summer, and given that it's like January right now, guess some people had some sources they were able to tap for that one, if you get what I'm saying. Chris, it's May. No, it's not May. Chris, it's literally May. No. Chris, why are you crying while you're laughing? I'm not. You're crazy, not me. Chris, you're talking to yourself. What? No. Digimon, you feel that panic pre-order? Super hard. Like an hour late for all the Kingdom figures. Yeah, like I'm also lucky in Canada that that Hasbro, like, not lucky. I don't know how to word this differently. Hasbro Pulse pre-orders are like a non-factor to me because of the flat $30 shipping. So to me, I'm just like, I hope I catch them on like Amazon or Toys R Us or EB Games. Calvin J, you're not too late. I've only been at this for, geez, I thought I was only at this an hour. It's been an hour, almost an hour and a half. Holy moly. Elson Kuzmorio, what's the worst Titan class figure in your opinion? I think Metroplex and Fort Max are fine for their time. I think Trypticon was a massive step forward that made the two of them, like, notably worse to me. Mostly because they don't have the ankle stability. So I find that posing Metroplex and Fort Max is an act of futility most of the time because they can't have a solid stance on the ground, and a lot of their weight is topside, so then they just start falling over. Adam Minilinski, because of B Starscream Rachel's Blitzwing, I think it looks kind of ridiculous. Still gonna get him though. If it helps, like I was mentioning this earlier, people who actually have that Starscream have kind of confirmed there's barely any Blitzwing in him physically. Like, given how much he looks like he's mostly Blitzwing. So it sounds like he's a more interesting experience than the figure lets on at first blush, which I was pretty happy to hear. For the sake of the VOD, I'm also not referring to someone by their full name as some sort of like teacher move. Like, I just use usernames, and that is what the username is. Purple Heart, I'm the guy who bought 10 BB Starscreams, can confirm they're an entirely new mold. Y'all doing some secret repaints out of those? Whenever I spin a mini around like 180 degrees, I start losing track of what the highlight angle even was, and then I'm like, wait, am I doing this right? I mentioned this before, it's why I kind of like live streaming this sometimes, because it sort of subconsciously makes me just make decisions without thinking about it too much. Which I think for mini painting is kind of important, as someone who pauses too much or overthinks stuff all the time. Usually just making a decision is a net positive, even if that decision turns out badly, because you're like, well, now I know. Adam Middlesky, I want to say I love that my name is said right, so that's appreciated. Calvin J, I do not play Monster Hunter, although I got some friends who do, and it sounds like it's neat. I do always see those, like, whenever Bandai starts doing, like, high-end Monster Hunter merch now and then, like figure stuff or statues, that stuff always looks like it's fun. This is unnecessary. No one's gonna look under the forearm. Why are you doing this? This should be perfect. Viper Taha, what material are those? Metal, plastic, or resin? Privateer Press is always metal and or resin. Like, here's a good example. A lot of their stuff, like they have a lot of like just solid metal ones. That's kind of a thing of theirs still, is like that they do metal, but they also use resin, which is kind of a shame as far as accessibility of this hobby-wise, because Riot Quest is a super fun... I got on this rant before, I'm going to keep it quick. Riot Quest is an incredibly fun, really simple, like goofy fun game. Resin is one of the weirdest materials to work with, because it can have entire, like, blocks of flash, and with resin, you don't want to ever sand it unless you're wet sanding with an N95 mask on, because the powder that comes off of this is real bad for your lungs. So I never sand resin. I always like whittle it down with a hobby knife. And resin, almost more so than pewter, you have to wash it to get like release off of it as well, so that like glue and also that paint will stick to it. So it's a shame. Like, you get this really cool model like Helga on wheels, but then, like, you know, the mixture of materials and everything is just, like, a bummer to deal with. And then the game is real, like, good, casual, goofy fun. And, like, the models are, like, almost like a gate you have to make your way through. And I think it's sort of a bummer. There are boons to this material stuff. And a lot of people who are into the hobby are like, this fine, though, I know how to deal with it. And I'm like, no, I get it. But it's just weird to me that, like, such a casual-friendly game has such casual, unfriendly models. Ben Walters, I think that the B Jeep Bumblebee mold is excellent stuff. I think that Studio Series is like just... that's a good Transformer. Purple Heart, I like Transmutate. Do you mean the Selects Transmutate? I like that one for headcanon reasons. I pre-ordered that one and I was like, I want to do a build of like someday like that Transmutate, like taking control of the Paleo Treks and like saving them from the cult they're in. I've been headcanoning the Fossilizers as basically like the Healing Church from Bloodborne. It's because I doubt the Fossilizers are like ever going to have any kind of notable lore to back them up, so I'm like, I'm just gonna make up my own. It's kind of like with Alpha Bravo and Off-Road. It's like, I suspect that the media will not do any favors to these characters, if even at all, representing them in anything. So they're mine now. Yeah, Jeshamon, it's like with bones instead of blood. Vertebrake is her holy sister Vertebrake, she who was born as a weapon alone. Because she doesn't... Vertebrake doesn't need to turn into a weapon. Her body is the weapon. And when that weapon is not big enough, the other fossilizers make it big enough. Yeah, Adam, like, there's a very, like, they give me a Soulsborne kind of, like, they give me that Soulsborne flavor in the way they look. Like, a lot of little decisions made. Like, yeah, like Paleo Trex's screaming alt mode head skull. Elson Quizmorio, you missed the YouTube review community from 10 years back. Like, I think a lot of them are still kicking around, right? I'm still kicking around. Never gonna get rid of me. I'm like an exceptionally livable wart. I can't keep that one going. I had ideas, but I've just realized none of those ideas were good. I gotta let that one go. Put it on a t-shirt, though. We'll sell that as merch. Just a t-shirt with the phrase exceptionally livable wart in impact font. Adamilinski, hashtag exceptionally livable worked. Mortal Wombat, yo! Hello! I missed a whole bunch of chat. Purple Heart looked forward to abominations made from 3 or 4 transmutates. Hell yeah. Jeshamon was kind of sad. Do you think the fossilizer girls are super cool? Yeah. Vertebrake is just, like, ripe for fiction that she ain't ever gonna get, in my opinion, officially. Like, I'd love to be wrong. Like, please prove me wrong, someone out there. Calvin J, will Omega Supreme ever gonna come back? Yeah, he's always kicking around. Nebula's Vertebrake being like Slash's necromantic sister from another tar pit mister is so wild to me. Yeah. Like, those two characters side by side are a story that someone's gotta make. Yeah, Viper Taha, like the fact that some fossilizers are Maximals now as well is like, I want fiction. Like, all it does is raise questions that are really interesting. Sean Crosser, I'm also down with Lanky Pteranodon Bone Guy. Good old Wingfinger. That name reveal, that got me during that FanFest thing. I was like, that's a name. That's up there with Rot Gut. As like, sometimes y'all just hit it with new names. Unless Rot Gut, now I'm having this weird like, half memory that Rot Gut was actually a legacy name that I just didn't remember. But whenever that happens, I'm like, you know what? Maybe that legacy version didn't matter. If the new one is so much more fun. Fixes a problem I had when I applied the black. That was these weird chords were starting to get wiped out visually, and it was bothering me, and I was like, I'll fix it later. Glad I'm fixing it later. Elson Quizmorio, the subtitles are in their contract is just for review videos. Like they got no legal binding reason to be present for anything else. And I tell them, like, yo, you got fans, and the subtitles are like, yeah, well, I hate people, so I'm happy I'm disappointing them. And I'm like, well, that's kind of screwed up, but hey, you know, have a good weekend. I'm aesthetically a fan of heavy contrast, so pardon my silences. I'm just kind of like having little moments with these cables. They're making me go like, oh. Look at that, it's so bright next to all that dark stuff. Yeah. And then I'm like, wait, I'm doing a live stream. I gotta not make those noises. We'll just keep it on the down low for now. Lawrence Retire, I like how the subtitles is paid vacation leave. It's not paid. The subtitles are a contractor. They just don't have work right now. Too real. Yeah, stick to their principles. Nebulous, the idea of AI-powered subtitles, RiffTrack is too powerful for this current iteration of Universe OS. That is correct. Calvin J, the intro to your third-party Predator King review has more lore than Fossilizers. Yeah, it has more lore than Prime Masters, even. That's another one, by the way, where I'm like, this concept actually doesn't work. That concept lost me because of the lack of lore, where I'm like, why are the 13 Primes dressing up like a bunch of pretender characters? Like, that's a real weird array of things I just said that, in my opinion, really needs lore. And there was, like, little bits and pieces of lore, but then, like, some of it was conflicting, and there just wasn't much of it, and I was like, I don't like these. These make no sense to me. Ben Walters, how much do you pay your subtitles? That's I can't, due to the contract, you know. I can't reveal it. You know, I would. Oh, woof, woof. Oh, I would, but you know, I'm not allowed to. One of my weird little goals with this top little canister is I want it to be bright, because I want to paint it to look like there's stuff in it. And I have no real good plan of how I'm going to do that. It's just a lingering thing I've always wanted to figure out. Because when I was a teenager, I had the OG Fabius Bile from Warhammer, and he had all these canisters on him, and I loved the idea of making them look like they had stuff in them, and then I just couldn't comprehend how to paint them to look like there was liquid in them when they're, like, you know, a flat object like this. Not like a 3D object of flat surfaces. I got confused, and then I never really pulled it off. Alright, let's hit that tank. Let's hit that tank. Let's do this. Did this ever fit on this stand? It did not. I just held this one. Okay. Elson Kuzmorio, the subtitles, you know, they're text on the screen, so I've just used the singular they. That felt appropriate. Mortal Wombat, I'm here to blow the whistle. The subtitles are paid exclusively in Japanese yen and Cheez-Its. I would never waste Cheez-Its on a coworker like that. Jeshamon, if a lot of the Prime Master weapon modes didn't look so doofy, I would have gotten more of them. Yeah, that didn't really help a whole lot. Yeah, Viper Taha, I was like, if you just said they're the Pretenders and made up, like, a Power Master thing with them, I'd have been like, okay, cool. It's just the Primes thing, for whatever reason, really, like, crossed a wire in my brain, and I was like, what? I'm not going for just purely edge highlighting on this, by the way. I'm just trying, when I get the chance to do a bit, I'm like, oh, how does it look, though? How does it look? But I want to get a little bit of the middle in here brought back up, too. Calvin J, you can try painting your brightest color, do a black wash of the whole thing except the canister. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of like, I'm thinking of doing it like in kind of white, and then like doing like a jagged line to make it look like the liquid's kind of tilted, swished a bit. Mortal Wombat, which models are these, by the way? They look fantastic. These are from the game Riot Quest by Privateer Press. It's a super fun game, and I like the models a ton. They're a bit much to work with, you know, on the hobby side of things. I was just going over it, but like basically, some of them are just pewter, but some of them are like a mix of pewter and resin. And resin, you know, it's not like nice. Is resin ever nice? Actually, basically, you have to do a lot of cleanup work on the resin sometimes, and you have to know that like you can't sand it without like unless you're gonna wet sand with an N95 mask. So it's better to have a good hobby knife and just like whittle down the parts, I think, that you need to smooth out, or like big pieces of flash. So you kind of, I think for Privateer Press stuff, you kind of got to be a little bit hobby experienced or prepared to make that your real hardcore training session. Also, yeah, this is a great Metal Slug tank. I like this one a lot. This is one I bought as soon as it came out. This is Leadfoot and Treads. There's a little guy in the front there in the cockpit, along with the guy on the top. I believe the storyline of these characters is they stole this tank. There's another one of this. I don't know what the races they're from, or the species, but there's another one of these guys called, like, this is like a general with a cigar, and he's the guy they stole the tank from, and he's another character in Riot Quest you can get. I think like General Thunderhead or something like that. Speaking of lore, Riot Quest is something where the lore is way too hard to track down for some of this first wave guys. Something I like, I haven't built them yet. I got some of the Winter Wasteland add-on figures, and those ones all come with like an extra art card that has their bio on the back, and is so good. It's like a tech spec, and I wish they had those for the first run, or the first wave. Well, that was also multiple waves, but like basically for the pre-winter time ones, I wish they had bio cards as well. Viper Taha, yes, sometimes. Sometimes the resin will have air bubbles. Sometimes it'll have like a big like rectangular block of flash that you have to scrape down. I only have messed with Games Workshop or Citadel Finecast once with the lictors from Tyranids, and I found the experience was very similar. Of like you kind of have to make an evening of like chilling out with a good hobby knife and kind of whittling down some stuff if you're not lucky. That's the one thing Games Workshop has above, I think, a lot of other companies, is they have plastic minis that you can pick up that can get you, you know, building them to completion in like minutes and getting that confidence level up like immediately. Like that is something that Games Workshop absolutely has, I think, almost cornered. Is like letting you like get into putting a plastic model together without like feeling like it's a whole event. Kansu Karindi, oh my, I missed you a ton, Vangelist. How's the lockdown been going so far? Woo-hoo-hoo! Let me tell you, I think I'm gonna do it. I want to post a vlog, kind of just about like where my brain's been at for the last year, because I know there's a lot of folks who don't follow my social medias. And there's a lot of folks who don't come to these live streams, for whom I've just been like a weird phantom for the last year and a bit. And they're probably the folks who wouldn't watch like a vlog, so I'm probably gonna just call it like State of the Vangelist or something. But my whole idea I've had it for months. I still haven't done it. Is to go like, yeah, I just thought I'd give you my thoughts on how 2020 went, and then like just start to scream and cut it off after half a second, and then like have a fake end card, and then that's that. Sideswipe Prime 606 just went to Games Workshop yesterday to get some paint. Yeah, I've been enjoying the contrasts. I got all these contrast colors. Shazo Fies, you didn't even know there were live streams until today. Let me tell you, I have wonderful news for you. I made a new playlist for this era of live streams I was doing since last year. I think it's a playlist I got called Vangelis Live Streams Live Archived Live or something. I'm not sure if I fronted it in places that are accessible or not. I'm never quite sure, but I'm trying to make it so that there's an accessible playlist that one can turn on if one just wants VODs of these running in the background or something. Ben Walters, my mind has not been good. I always feel bad doing this, but whenever someone has asked me in the last year, like, how you doing? I've just been like, oh, bad. I prefer to be honest about it. Shazafy, granted, didn't really see watching someone paint to something I'd want to watch, let alone live. Yeah, Shazafy, I was saying this in the last one too, like, painting live streams to me feel like they're solving my eternal problem of like, how do I do live streams about toy stuff that I feel is interesting and not daunting? And then I found this is like a happy medium, because especially with the advent of discovering my phone is really decent at doing these live streams, this lets me kind of like talk about stuff in a chill way while I'm doing something, which can be interesting to look at if you want to, but either way, we're also just chilling. That's I think what I want live streams to be for me, is like a way for us to chill in a non-formalized way that isn't like, you know, a review where I prefer the thing to be a little bit more like, you know, write a script down, make the footage the feature. Like, this is a way to kind of hang out. And I don't really feel like I have a way to do that with toys that I'm into, outside of like, you know, every now and then, like in the last live stream, I popped open Kingdom Dinobot, and we kind of chatted about it for a bit. That was fun. It's just like, I don't always have new toys. And I got so many unpainted minis. So, you know, we'll fuse it up a bit. The one thing that's freaky, hang on, I'll catch up on chat first. Sean Crosser, I wish their Bandai partnership would get to the logical endpoint of a Crisis Battleship HG kits. It would be real cool if Bandai Plamo could do Games Workshop. I feel like that's the place where Games Workshop would draw a line, because I feel like that's why they ended their relationship with Fantasy Flight Games, was Fantasy Flight was doing minis games, and Games Workshop saw that as crossing a line for a partnership. But that would be cool. Shazafy, especially compared to the frustration of reading your Twitter feed with what happened recently. Yeah, having to once again try to deal with my deranged teenage 40-something-year-old son or whatever. RG1CD is my usual answer to how you've been is typically been better. Yeah, I got so much more direct, because even like I've been better. It always, you know, naturally. It's not like it's someone who's like is prying, but naturally, if I say been better, someone will then say, "Oh, what's wrong?" And then I'm kind of like, at times I'm like, "What do you think? What do you think is wrong? God, yeah." So I just kind of go straight into it now. I also figure, you know, if I just say it, like, yeah, my mental health's been kind of demolished for the last while. Then, hey, maybe we're arriving on the same page as some other folks who are also feeling like, as one might say auf Deutsch. I like to just, I say like, hey, ask me how I'm doing. Like, how you doing? And then I make the bestutzt noise. It's like, hey, ask me how I'm doing. How you doing? Oh, that's how you're doing. Okay. Well, truly bestutzt. Okay, cool. Kansu Karindi, talking about having no room for toys and blah, blah, blah. You think of selling, getting rid of some if you had to, which ones you put on sale. Yeah, like part of it is also, like, I just need to make some decisions, I think, about packaging and stuff again, like crunching it down and getting rid of even more of it and making better use of my storage unit. But also, like, I think I want to ditch my Sentinel re-edit Iron Men now that I've got Kuro Karakuri Transformers. So I'm getting that chemical attack, but with Transformers now, and I don't actually care that much about Iron Man as a character. Generally, if I'm going to put stuff on sale, it'd be at a local toy show. But usually I make sales threads on Twitter. The grand goal is to make a sales thread on Twitter that is then duplicated into a referenceable page on my site. But I already have trouble, like, doing sales threads on Twitter with regularity because, like, all the work of taking photos of the toys is something that it's real easy for me and my my work ethic to go, like, man, I need to take a lot of photos of toys for the sales thread. It's time to go on a YouTube binge and not do anything all weekend. But generally, like, for a lot of things, my Twitter page is a good place to check, because I'll always post stuff there. But I also fully understand that, like, Twitter is not, like, a nice site to deal with, especially if you don't have, like, folks to talk to who are already on there. It's just that's where I tend to post stuff. So worst case, like, one can always, like, just head to, you know, Twitter/Vangelis and see if I've said anything there. But I'll try to use the YouTube community post thing as well, because I understand that gets to y'all who are in here on the stream. Nebulous, I've been saying fighting through it like everyone else. Yep. Viper Taha, unpainted minis. You have some Chaos Marines to paint. I have not even. It bothers me how many unpainted minis I have that I bought with the excitement of, like, man, can't wait to paint these too. And then I barely painted anything for like a year. That's part of the reason why I started doing the Hobby Streak hashtag on Twitter and Instagram, is because it's a great way to, like, motivate oneself to go, like, you know, I'm just going to do something. And then, like, even if I don't do something painting-wise, I'm like, all right, like, I know I don't have the energy to paint something, but do I have a model to assemble? Do I have, like, a foam core insert for a board game to assemble? Can I base some models? Can I do, like, another coat of PVA glue over top to seal the basing in? Like, it's still touching a model, right? Or doing something kind of tactile hobby. Like, I kind of define it for myself, because there's no Hobby Streak police, as, like, tactile hobby stuff. So, like, I've been including stickering Soto Kamen Rider toys, because, like, I get the same zen feeling out of doing it, because I make a whole thing out of doing it with, like, a spudger tool to place the labels, and then, like, I try to press them down a bit to get them to what's the word I'm looking for? To conform to the sculpted detail. And so it ends up, you know, I spend, like, at least half an hour on any given Soto Kamen Rider figure putting the labels on. And so I decided that's Hobby Streak as well, because I'm getting that same kind of zen feeling of doing an artistic, tactile activity. This is actually working perfectly. I'm running very low on that glob of pale sand I put down, and I'm just about to have finished this round of pale sanding on these 6 models like I was hoping to. So this is all turning out perfectly. But I'm also glad that anyone is actually having fun, like, chilling out during these streams, because, like, here's what I've come to learn in the last year about YouTube algorithm stuff from other channels. Doing live streams on YouTube is, in fact, bad for your channel discovery. Did you know this? I read this somewhere off another channel. Like, YouTube algorithm does not like it if all your videos do not get identical engagement. So if you have a mixture of smaller, you know, shorter review videos, for instance, and then lengthy live stream archives, YouTube starts to move you down the tier list because, like, oh, people aren't watching 100% of all your videos anymore. And it's like, yeah, they're not watching 100% of, like, the 3-hour live streams, and so then they're like, well, you better clean that up. And it's like, with these kind of streams, I'm kind of like, what if I don't care about discoverability, you hell site? You're a platform. That's all you are. Oh, I need a fresh dose of pale sand for this last piece. You know, a mixture of that and also, like, going off the TCG streams as well. Like, this is not toy review related stuff at all. So there's going to be an inherent level of aggro one can expect from, you know, going outside one's wheelhouse. And I'm still all adamant, like, this is still my personal YouTube channel, which is going to forever hold it back to a degree. But I kind of want to just do what I want anyway. So that's my way of also saying I really appreciate all of you who are chilling out here today. Just chilling out and not going like, why is this painting? What are you? Why haven't you unboxed Unicron on camera? I'll tell you why. Because I had to unbox him the moment he showed up so I could use my front haul again. That's why there's no unboxing for Unicron. I don't have an entire room to show on camera to fill with Unicron's box. I missed a bunch of chat. I apologize. Sideswipe, Prime 606, 2019-2020, demolished mine too. Started seeing a therapist, helped a lot. Yeah, I someday I got to get over that hump. Because I think that like having therapy, by all accounts, it is simply a healthy thing to do. It's not like a thing that needs to be done and it should only be done in the direst of circumstances. It's like, it's just healthy. And I still haven't gotten over the hump because I grew up in the, you know, the 90s, that's kind of like my child years, the late 80s, 90s, where that, you know, all the media was like, that guy sees a therapist. So I think I still have inherent damaged biases, even though I know they're foolish, that I need to get over. The lockdown hasn't helped either, because I don't want to go anywhere in person right now. So that's been another excuse. And I know there's a lot of people operating remotely, but it's all been a great way for me to keep putting that kind of stuff off. Kansu Kirindi, so you're a perfectionist. How good is your German? My German's not very good conversationally. I just, like, you know, I pick up bits here and there. I sometimes can understand chunks of German when I listen to it. Like, I like a lot of Neue Deutsche Harte bands, so I like their lyrics most of the time. My mom's German, so I have a source for German knowledge, but conversationally I'm not good at it because I have a lot of problems thinking in another language, which is like, that's the way I always put it, is like with Japanese as well. Like, I took a lot of Japanese in high school, but I can't think in Japanese or in German, so having conversations takes me a long time at best, with a lot of like staring off into space. Sean Crosser, I'm more asocial, so my introversion helped me during these trying times, but I can sympathize with extroverted folk. Yeah, I'm not even like super extroverted. One way I put it was, I liked having the option to be a hermit, and once I lost the option to be a hermit, at times, it made it weirder, is what I discovered. Sideswipe Prime, how long do you usually wait between paint coats? I never know how long to wait. It depends on whether they're acrylic layers or if they're washes or contrast paints or the like. I kind of eyeball it. Like, if I look at it and it doesn't look dry, I'm like, well, I'm just going to leave this alone. I don't really measure time. Instead, I like line up a bunch of extra models and just keep going on other ones, and then I'll check back to one from before. That's kind of the way I do it. I don't really numerically have a check, which sometimes does make me screw stuff up. Oh yeah, I got Unicron because I got paid the last day the campaign was open, and I decided to be really, really irresponsible. Yeah, the making food live stream was fun. I might try that some other time when I get inspired. Live streaming cooking is the kind of thing where it just has to like pop into my head when I'm doing it. If I try to formalize it or plan it, it's like never gonna happen. I don't want to moderate this comment. Stop doing that. Yeah, Nebulos, like, yeah, like, the other thing about therapists that I'm glad I know, even though I haven't tried, is, like, I think it's important to know that finding a therapist, from what I understand, is very much shopping. If you find a therapist and they're bad, that just means you found a bad therapist. Possibly just bad for you, who knows. And you gotta be ready to shop around. Which seems like something that's also gonna be real hard if you're, like, you know, already a little anxiety-ridden. Or something like that. Yeah, Sideswipe Prime, like, yeah, those biases are... I'm happy I know I have the biases. It just frustrates me that I know that they still affect my decision-making. Kanto Karini, can you suggest some German bands? I mean, Rammstein is an obvious one that is, you know, has a whole lot of material out there. And I think a lot of really interesting lyrics. There's a lot of not wordplay, what's the word I'm looking for? Innuendo in Rammstein lyrics, which can be interesting to interact with. Like, absolute base level, the lyrics of Du hast there's a whole lot of, like, wordplay in there, which is really cool. Eisbrecher is one of my absolute favorites. Eisbrecher, with Alex Veselski. They are basically the original Megahertz band for the most part. Megahertz, back in the 2000s, Alex left in the early 2000s, and Megahertz has continued on with other vocalists, but Eisbrecher is, I think, a really solid band. I will say, I have enjoyed a lot of Oomph. Oomph's frontman got really friggin' weird on Facebook a couple years ago in a way that put me off listening to Oomph, sadly. Which hopefully, like, it was not like a bit when he later posted, like, I was just reading a lot of the wrong kind of news sites, but I still haven't gotten that taste out of my mouth with Oomph, which sucks. I've liked Oomph since I was in high school, and Oomph do English and German lyrics. But, like, there's a couple other ones. Those are kind of like the top ones for me, and then it's like stuff that branches off from them. Like there's always some fun, like, Nina Hagen stuff. But Eisbrecher is one of the go-tos for me. Like, they really are a super solid, fun band with a lot of really fun lyrics. I feel like I just was looking at another one lately, but I think it was... No, Eisbrecher just put out a new album called Liebe macht Monster this year, which is also a fun album if you get into the lyrics, because a lot of the lyrics are coming from a place of lockdown and etc. Eisbrecher they have a really good song called how do you say this without... See, YouTube's gonna think I'm saying a dirty word, and I'm not, because it's spelt differently. They have look up the video on YouTube. It's a really cool video. It's called let's say FAC, is how an American might pronounce it, and it's just, you know, it's just an internet word. But it's got some really cool lyrics in it, and it also it's written in a way that feels very like how do you put it? Web lingo, in that there's a lot of English words mixed in, and there's a lot of slang in it, and, you know, relevant to all kinds of things. It has like a line early on which is like, you're going to make war on Twitter every morning, which is pretty fun. And it also is where I learned the phrase hobby Hitler as a derogatory. Like, FAC is it's a fun video too, but the song lyrics it's very much like a 2020s internet fight song of, like, you friggin' hobby Hitlers trying to pick fights on Twitter, and going in your little sports cars and driving around and trying to be all cool and like a tough guy. I'ma kick your ass. In their previous album from about 2 or 3 years ago, they also had they have a really, I think, solid video for the song Was ist hier los? It's like, what's going on? Hard video to watch. There's some pretty rough footage in it of, like, you know, rough stuff. Like, it is what I would call a heavily content warninged video. But the song is about the way that the world is kind of in this, is at times in a perpetual state of just going like, can you believe what's happening? What's happening? What have we become? What's happening? But in a way where it's like we're also perpetually just like that, and we're always we're looking at headlines, and the greater public is like, I can't believe someone said that. How is all this happening? How is this happening? That reaction to like systemic injustices is the way I parse the song. And the music video is a mixture of really rough footage crossed with a super polished news set, and Alex Veselski with like the greatest awful toupee for a newscaster look I've ever seen. There is also like lyrics video versions of it if you don't want to see the hard footage. It's a good song. Like Neue Deutsche Härte stuff tends to come from a place of folks who grew up when the Berlin Wall was still there. And so there's like an inherent kind of like resist the power punkness to it. But also a lot of the artists are like dudes who are now getting into their 50s. So trying to find like fully progressive notions in it is a little bit of interpretation, obviously. But I still enjoy a lot of that stuff. Like, Rammstein's last album had the song Deutschland, which, to me, is a masterpiece, right down to the music video. Again, heavily content warninged for, in that case, concentration camp imagery. But the Deutschland video, to me, is also, in the song, I think the song, but the video especially, is a piece of art, legitimately. Not like an artist blowing smoke. Like, it is a piece of art. It's very hard to watch. But I believe it comes from a genuine place of artistry and of making a statement that is making, I should say, like a statement that is not from a place of like, fascism or of status quo. It's very much calling out a national trauma and the way that a nation has been told to deal with a national trauma in a way. And I don't know, that Deutschland video also, it touched on a lot of my own, not even feeling, I don't know how to put it, but like the themes of it, of the song and the video, hit on things I didn't realize had really been sticking with me to this day that I went through in my childhood, being partly German, I don't know if this is universal, but like I went through some like weird stuff with classmates and things. In like, in elementary school and in high school, often relating to my German heritage, even though like I very much visibly just appear to be an like, a Asian Canadian, but often like when my German heritage would come up, it would inherently start becoming a derogatory, not with everyone, but at times. Elementary school was the worst because in elementary school, kids don't have empathy, so kids have empathy, but they have underdeveloped empathy, so it would come out in really awful ways that like I didn't realize had stuck with me to this day in the back of my mind. But also, yes, I saw the comment, Sideswipe Prime, Rammstein, I didn't know you like metal. Yeah, I actually really, I don't know if I'm as into metal as like I like metal. I think if I were to plant a flag of where I am as far as my music taste, it still is very much an industrial, and industrial, has fingers everywhere. Like there's industrial metal. It spreads into agrotech. It spreads into dance metal, like Rammstein, or it spreads into dark wave, or into synth pop, or even I would say late aughts pop. Like the reason why I kind of dig songs like Paparazzi is because there is like Paparazzi has a industrial undertone to the music side of it that I really enjoy. So industrial has always kind of been my musical core in a way that spreads out all over the place. I like metal, but I like metal with a sort of industrial edge to it the most. Although, I don't know if I've yelled about them on a live stream yet. Like, a band that got me through 2020 was Ginger, Jinjer. The song Perennial, lyrically and musically, like, I'm still trying to figure out, like, what it means to me, but it is incredibly important to me. And I listen to it, like, near daily through the 2020 side of lockdown. And it helps that Ginger is also just a highly competent band. If you've not heard them, searching for them on this platform can be frustrating because it's a metal band with a female singer who also does some of the best growls in the entire genre. If you look up Ginger, your algorithm, your YouTube search and presentations will be clogged with reaction videos for days. Because there are bajillions of people going, firefighter reacts to Ginger Perennial, or reacts to opera singer reacts to Ginger Pisces. Lots of vocal coach reacts, or there's the React cottage industry adores Ginger as a source of content, which I kind of find gross, but I get it. I don't know how I got on this tangent of yelling about metal stuff, and also I'll apologize if me talking about some school experiences was a little bit heavy. But when I talk about Rammstein's Deutschland, that's part of why I think it really hit with me. But it's a very unapologetic song about and Rammstein guys are all in their 40s and 50s. It's a bunch of guys from Germany in their 40s and 50s who have made a song that is trying to come to terms with being German in the world and what that often entails as far as how people tend to look at you. In my experience, at least, in a way that resonated with that song. Obviously it's going to be different for everyone, and I don't live in Germany, and thus my experience is not in any way gonna trump the experience of someone who's actually born in Germany and from there. Also, low-key, the reason why the Oomph guy went weird really badly is it culminated in him posting this Facebook post where he was declaring Rammstein, because of the Deutschland song, as being anti-German SJWs. Which is a real weird thing to apply to Rammstein. Makers of the song and live performance Buch dich. Oh, I knocked over my mini. I made him Buch dich. I'm gonna pack up my little paint station while we're talking, and I'll bust out that Kingdom box. Where am I gonna put these? I can put some of them in this little shelf. These are the Aristea starter set minis. These have been living in here ever since I got this paint case. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I want to paint them. One of them's missing. He's in another thing of half-painted miniatures. But this game has no solo mode, and so I have no way to play it right now. But I got these cool hexagon bases for it that have an actual slot for a magnet, so they stick to this little magnet plated shelf that came with my paint case. So they're like a little barrier, so I can actually put these models in here, so they won't rattle around too much. Oh, no, the tank fits in here. That's right. Fit! It fits. We win! I gotta lay this guy down in another little shelf. I just want him to lay down comfortably and not bang around. Eh, eh, eh. I did it. I win. Viper Taha, I've listened to a ton of international bands during the pandemic. And a magnet slot on bass is pretty handy. Oh, it's so handy. Like, I dare say, I think it's a legitimate criticism to launch that most bases don't have a magnet slot at this point. Because it's a known thing. It is a full storage option a lot of people use, which is a metal sheet in a box and you magnetize the figures to it, is known. It's just a diameter frame circle to put in the underside of the bases. Like, I'm guessing part of it is that a lot of bases, they probably produce, you know, slotted bases and stuff en masse, and so it would be like, it would have to be like a separate premium product or something, but like, come on. Like, I like magnetized miniature storage is not super new. Like, I found videos on YouTube about doing it that date back to like the early 2010s, so it's not like, you know, some kind of wild, crazy idea. Where do I want to put this stuff? I gotta wipe up this pale sand. I'm wiping it up because I want to make this piece of wax paper last me for another session or two, and if I leave a big patch of pale sand on it, then it ain't gonna. Alright, I gotta move this. Adam Midolinsky, on the music theme, I got you kind of into Femme, and now you get emotional at TikTok and also Unbreakable. Unbreakable is gorgeous. Yeah, it's a gorgeous song. Unbreakable is like, it's in ways I can see how Unbreakable is a little bit like, you know, how do I put it? Like a little bit cheesy. But like, I think Unbreakable is like a really nice message of a song, depending how you apply it to yourself as a listener. This is the thing, by the way. That's the thing. That's the thing. I gotta take these water cups away, so I gotta walk off into the distance. In the meantime, I'm gonna need you guys to keep an eye on someone for me. This is a criminal, and he's up to no good. So keep an eye on him. I meant to zoom in on his face, but, you know, we'll just roll with it. This is when I want someone to just arrive for the stream, for this. Oh, check it out, there's a live stream going on. I gotta take a look at this. Seems interesting. Oh, there's just, that thumbnail has, that's got rum and miniatures? And what's this guy getting up to? Getting to the live stream. Stiltman's crotch. Okay. Guess it's a bit. Known Transformers in-joke. Stiltman's crotch. Famous Transformers in-joke. Stiltman's crotch. What'd you hear? Did you hear? Chris broke out the classic Stiltman's crotch bit again. You what? And I missed it? What a fool I was for not being there at that live stream. Whoa. I knocked my whole ass light over. Not onto the floor, but on its little hinge. Alright. Stiltman, watch your head. This is a very heavy little suitcase to lift up like that, I should mention. I gotta figure out a better place to put things. but also saying I gotta figure it out is all I'm ever gonna end up doing. Alright, Stilt Man, get out of the way. Get out of the way, you weirdo, Stilt Man! All right, one thing, by the way, I got to say that I like about this Kingdom Press box. It is way less long than the Earthrise press box. The Earthrise press box I could barely fit onto my filming location. To the point where also the Earthrise press box was just toys. So I never filmed an unboxing of it. I just filmed footage of it. And I was like, well, these are just going to be reviews at the time, right? I was like, these are just going to be reviews, so I'll just film like some footage of the box, and then in the packaging B-roll for every figure I got out of that box, I'll put the full disclosure FCC logo in the background of the shot, so I know that they're ones where I have to say hashtag free product. And then I still haven't reviewed any of them yet. I'm gonna. Here's the way my brain's working. Reviewing Wheeljack, right? This is how my brain works. Reviewing him unlocks my ability to then review Sunstreaker and Runamuck, because I feel there's a chain of conversation across those three figures. That's also why I haven't even written it, but while I was filming Wheeljack, I was like, I gotta film Sideswipe, because Sideswipe informs so many figures from the last couple years. I want to talk about him. Those are the two figures I filmed most all of the footage for the other day. I probably have some more B-roll I need to film for the ending segment, but I filmed all the basic stuff I could think of, and then I'll see what the gaps in the timeline are. But for the Kingdom box, because this isn't just toys, my goal is I'm just gonna shoot like a little like tour through what's in the box. And then like do some quick thoughts on figures afterwards. So I'm not going to open a bunch of the figures, but I'll show you what's in the box. What's also weird about this thing, right, is you have to flip it up this way to see the back art. So you have to then flip it upside down and turn it back over to see the front art the right way up. It's one of those things. Oh, I'll answer the question. Hey, how did you get one of these? So at Fan Expo 2019, when the Hasbro team was there, and I'd gotten myself in to do the quick interview I posted with John Warden and a couple other folks. Now I can't remember everyone who was there. When I did that, I mentioned that I do a lot of coverage and I'm based out of Canada, and I got myself onto the Hasbro press list through that. So that's the list of folks who then get notified about new products, things. I get those emails. Usually by the time I get those emails, I've already watched that coverage on Twitter from other news sites, so I'm like, I don't really have anything to add to this. But then you also, when they do mailers, I get notified, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do mailers. I have fun with these, because, before I post it, I got to mention that, like, this is a free product, according to FTC guidelines. If I decide to post this unboxing, I got to make sure that people know this is free product. And it also got me in on that, the post-FanFest Q&A sessions they were doing. But like, I think Unicron.com on their Facebook page posted coverage of the session I was in, because I was in there with them and Sabertron. Anyway, that's the story of how I have this box. Is I made moves at Fan Expo. Anyway, so this is like a very Beast Wars-y box. Actually, this is the thing that explains what's in it. So the theme of this, like with the Earthrise box, is because it's primarily to promote that the Netflix Kingdom stuff is about to pop up, but then it's crossed with a promotion of a 90s nostalgia theme based on Beast Wars' 25th anniversary. This box is interesting because the content list is not the contents of the box, it is a selection of. So when I first looked at this, and I looked at this list, I was like, wait, what do you mean I have 6 deluxes and a Voyager? There's what in this? There's no way you fit all that in. It's not. You get 2 of these, and I think either Inferno or the 2 deluxes. So you're not getting all of this. This is the first time I've got one that did the selection thing, which is interesting. There's other things in here too, as you can see. And then there's also, here's like some example hashtags you can use, blah, blah, blah. I'm not good at internet marketing because I keep making fun of it. So the one cool thing is they give you the issue 1 of the new IDW comic book, and I like this book, and I only own it on Comixology, so it's nice to see the artwork like in person. I think I'm an issue or 2 behind on this now as far as like reading it. I gotta catch up. But now I got something I can make our boy Josh Burcham sign someday at a TFCon. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss someone asking what's up? Chicken Soup! Welcome! Sean Crosher's got you covered, it looks like. Yeah, I did some mini painting. Now I'm just showing what's in this Kingdom press box. This is kind of cool, I think. These are all, it looks like concept arts from the Netflix Kingdom show. And I don't know if any of this is spoilery. I am assuming, hang on, does it say in the thing? I thought it said these were from... Yeah, this is concept art by Rooster Teeth. So these are like concept arts, I'm guessing, for the Netflix show. Which is cool. Like, if there's one thing I would have liked to see, it would have been, like, it says by Rooster Teeth. That doesn't help me knowing who I would want to get to sign these. So I gotta figure that out, I guess, because I'd like to know who I could get these signed by. But the stuff is all pretty cool. And this is I think this would have been the best first image to post about Kingdom. Is the Ark crashed in the side of a volcano, but with Cheetor looking on. Like, this would have said everything, I think. This is a really cool piece. This kind of makes me feel like we're missing an alligator, even though I know he's probably not going to be relevant to any Kingdom stuff. This feels like the front page spread of the mini comic that came with the Bat Primal Alligator Megatron 2-pack is what this makes me think of. Another piece of nostalgia I had is they put in the Shout Factory first season Beast Wars box. It's just season 1, but with like a new label that says 25 years, and it's like not for sale. Signed with Rooster Teeth bite marks. But when I opened this up, I should say when I opened this up out of the FedEx box, this was open, and I heard stuff rattling around. So the nostalgia you're getting is not only for Beast Wars, but nostalgia for DVD box sets that use really fragile plastic hinge mechanisms that break before you get the set open. So all the discs are rattling around. The discs didn't rattle around. They're all locked into these things. But this thing was fully disengaged from this DVD box with these 2 chunks of broken hinge from up here rattling around. And I was like, this is nostalgia. Beast Wars is 90s nostalgia. This is 2000s nostalgia. Probably unintended, yes, but nonetheless, it made me think of anyone who grew up when DVDs were the main home media. Y'all know, Sean Crosser, Accurate Experience, right? Y'all know what I mean. When you get like the DVD box where they try to do packaging to fit a bunch of discs into a thing, and like it doesn't work, It doesn't work as a shippable item. Endertrot, hello. Re-listening to old TFW to juice serotonin out of them. Popped in to say hi. Hello, welcome. Don't let me interrupt the juice. I'm all down with serotonin juicing. Anyway, authentic 2000s design. I think this is kind of cool that they did like a new label. Like I feel like I read Shout Factory was clearing out their Transformers stock. So I'm guessing that this was like Hasbro was able to get a big whack of this and make a new label to put in the box. I am behind on a lot of Shout Factory releases, and I feel like I missed the window. But I'm sure I can track them down eventually. I have the Rhino Beast Wars DVDs back on the West Coast, which is part of why I never really grabbed the Shout Factory ones. I have regrets about that. I think Shout Factory across the board appeared to have just better masters that they were working from. I didn't look into this with Beast Wars, though. I'm kind of basing this on the G1 stuff. How about those old DVD boxes with the giant dowel in the middle, stacked of all the DVDs on top? That was like the Sliders box! At the time, I thought that was so smart until later on, I was like, wait, if those are packaged even slightly wrong, all those discs are just friggin' grinding around on each other. Anyway, the last thing in here are toys. So, I didn't get Voyager Inferno with this. I got Ractonite and AirRaiser. As far as Netflix stuff, I'm actually happy with my selections. I got Deep Cover, which is making me instantly regret that I passed on getting the other Deep Cover on sale from Toys R Us a couple weeks ago. Now I want to get the other Deep Cover. Now that the chain has started, I want the other Deep Cover. But then I got Sparkless! This thing is really freaking cool! The like swirly plastic paint, I'm not sure if it's swirly plastic and or swirly paint, but it looks really neat in person. I know I saw other people talking about this too, like that the greens are more pronounced in person. I agree. But I like this mold a lot. If I were choosing between the Sparkless or the Quintesson Ironhide bot, I'd prefer the Sparkless. I do think it's funny that it's just Barricade, though, on the packaging art. And it's weird to define it as a Decepticon. It's like, this is a corpse. It's just a corpse. But yeah, that was what all I got. My plan is I want to film B-roll of all of this and B-roll of the packagings for reviews, and then put it all back in and then do a tour through and then crack it all open and do some quick thoughts on these. But I want to do all that not live streamed because I have some stuff I want to do aside from the B-roll that is going to be easier to do pre-recorded. And I'd rather film it with the nice camera than the phone. Jotaku, yeah, I'm gonna pull him out again. I want to keep looking at him. Like, I think this looks really cool. Like this looks dead. Yeah, I'm gonna get a better look. I'm gonna pull the tray out and get a better look at the legs. Everything's in the way. Okay. Yeah, like that there where it looks like all cracked up and stuff. I wish that it wasn't clear plastic on here. I would like one of these to just be fully opaque, and I feel like this would have been the one. But also the clear plastic on here feels too clean for like a zombie. Should just be all like dusty and stuff. Just make it more gross. I wanna dry heave when I look at this guy. Let's look at the doors in the back here. Look at that. It's making my phone camera flip out. Hello, it's a zombie. Hello, Verspringen. Good afternoon. So, like I said, I don't want to fully unpackage these because I have a thing I want to do with them. With my nice camera first. One of those things is getting it back in the food box. Get it. There we go. Hey, let's do this. Let's do an instructions review. Let's do how are the instructions on the Netflix War for Cybertron trilogy. I am liking how much bigger these instructions are, and that they're a little bit clearer on a nice white background, but like this. I don't know. Stuff like this, it's just too dark. Like, it's brighter on the camera than it is to my naked eye. Ever since the Unicron instruction book disappointed me, I've been like 100 times harder on the Transformers instructions in general. You did see a lovely AirRaiser. AirRaiser! That's a good toy. Nebulos. Yeah, they're, who was it? The, Ectotron. And, I think Gigawatt, but I'm mostly thinking of Ectotron. Because they made the instruction book a little bit more retro, it inadvertently also made it, like, better, I think. Get y'all back in there. Low-key, one of my other things I want to try with this and the Earthrise box, if I archival bag all of the toys. I want to know if this is actually good toy storage. Because I'm a weirdo who doesn't really have like display shelves, and I'm completely content with that. And I want to know, because I don't want to keep getting like large tubs for everything. I want to know if I can fit like some what I would call smaller lines into like a cool thematic cardboard box. I think it would be neat. Put that on my shelf, and then like I want to bust out the Kingdom toys. Bah. What else? What else is going on around here? I should probably close up in a bit as we're coming up on 3 hours, and I was telling myself I'll do a 2-hour stream. What else? What else am I poking at? I got nothing nearby because I was filming these jokers. I was trying to accurately capture, as much as I love Wheeljack, like I managed to capture the two problems I have with him, like the part where his bicep swivel does that. And then during transformation, I fully managed to have the thing where this little bit here just completely like abandoned ship mid-transformation. Because in the script I make a point of talking about that, and I was hoping it would just come up naturally in the footage, and it did. Oh yeah, my Wheeljack does this constantly, where his bicep swivel's fine, but that click you heard, because it has soft detents, there's something in the soft detents that like 3 out of 5 times makes his bicep mushroom peg just like eject. And I filed down carefully all kinds of things in there, and it still just happens. It's fine, it's just kind of annoying. Like it's just something catches in there. Oh yeah, mine have like little soft locking point. There's a soft detent there for the alt mode. So I think it's by design. Like it's very soft, but there's like a tactile when I do that. And now I got to be prepared for the part where everyone's like, only yours does that. Oh, the clear windshield piece on yours stressed already? That's a bummer. Mine might be, I just haven't noticed it. No, it seems okay so far. Yeah, Black Arachne is kind of freaky. This is my first one who's got the 2 left feet. Not a gag, literally like 2 left feet, so she can't transform fully into spider mode. And since everything was in stay-at-home lockdown, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna possibly work out a return on it. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep it for the parts in case my next one that shows up is like messed up in a different way. But wasn't, thank goodness. But yeah, this part here is so freaky because like this is very thin, and also this is these lines are sculpted in. So this is actually like pre-scored to snap off cleanly if things go badly. Also, is it just me, or is the white balance on this like shifting wildly? Oh yeah, for spring. She's just like she's in the arrangement of figures who just are always off camera left because I don't really know where else to put them because I'm a total mess. But I have fun because it means when I'm shooting my B-roll, like, you can tell how old B-roll is depending on what's, like occasionally, like, lightly popping in on the side of the screen. I also filmed the articulation segment for Red Megatron when I filmed the articulation for Wheeljack and Sideswipe. So, hopefully I can get going on this guy, too. I kind of want to say my piece about him, because he's probably going to be the only red figure I own for a long time. I would say if you're only getting one red figure, like, he's the one to get, because he's just a very nice Megatron sculpt, and those are not, like, super common. But everything I've been seeing about other red figures has confirmed to me my fears that it's not a line I actually want to spend, like, $30 a figure on. And that, like, this might actually just be the coolest thing the line ever did. Fabulous. And here I thought you had 200 square feet of filming space with 3 linear kilometers of shelving space. Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm just looking around, seeing if there's anything else goofy around here that I can wave around. But it's just red Megatron. My legless Assaultus is chilling out way over on the corner of the table. My leg boys got to Canada Customs like 3 days ago, and they're still in customs review, and I'm like, give me my leg boys, please. Let me reunite the family. Ben Walters, favorite Kingdom figure so far? Oh, that's so hard. There's a lot of good ones. Air Razor might actually be my favorite one so far, because she's, like, really well done, in my opinion. Captain Kapla, do you think some dry brush highlights or lowlights would look nice on Megatron? Dry brushing, because he's such clean angles, I don't know if dry brushing would make him just end up looking messier than helping. I feel like inking in his panel lines and maybe doing edge highlights would do more, but that would also be a lot more work. And I think that because he's so cartoon looking in sculpt, you'd want to go for more like hard blocks of color than something like dry brushing tends to be a lot more gradiented and a little scratchy, and I don't know if that aesthetically would pair up as well with the sculpt as is. Fabulous. Honestly, this is a super fun sesh to be able to catch. I just learned that the dumb notification bell was set for you for your customization, which is why I never see these. Yeah, the notification bell's friggin' like, that's why, in case you're wondering, that's why a lot of YouTubers make a whole spiel and deal about the notification bell, because, like, that thing can literally nullify you from someone's personal universe for in upwards of years. It's ridiculous. Verspringen, he definitely does the knee bend that achieves nothing thing you hate, doesn't he? He does if you use the top knee joint. If you use the top knee joint, then it's like it's there, but really nothing's happening. Like, thankfully, with the bottom knee joint, you get a more notable bend, but then you also get, like, you know, the knee hole. Like, the double knee curl is the highlight on him. It should be, but because his front skirt doesn't get out of the way at all, he can only kick his legs forward this much, which also means he can't sit in chairs. And, like, this is the Megatron. If you could get him, like, a big, cool throne for him to sit in, it would have been so cool. It's also annoying because, like, the side skirts get out of the way, but then the front ones don't. And I'm like, ah! And also, like, the shoulder setup here is cool for this and for this, but when you put them together, it starts to look weird. The ab crunch is cool, though. Yeah, it's clicky. Sean Crosser, I've had YouTubers I subscribe to basically not have their videos not even appear on my subscription page for close to a year. I have had more than one person tell me that they thought I stopped making videos because they hadn't seen a single posting in their subscription box for 2 years. And granted, there were times where it was like one video in like a month or two. But that still is like a number of videos in that year. And that blew my mind. And I was like, now I kind of more so understand and am less annoyed by people saying, I can't believe you stopped making YouTube videos. Because I thought it was just people living in internet time, where if you don't say something for 2 weeks, you've retired. Barb D8, can he dab? A little bit. Yeah, that is the one upside of that shoulder joint, is it puts his elbow right in his face. So he can properly, like, you know, show it and dominate. I don't know what angle I prefer on this. Do I like this or do I like this? I like the ab crunch in it. It makes it a bit more. Robot Lorekeeper, I missed everything but this. I'm glad Transformers dabbing is a recurring segment. Part of the reason I like doing this is because, like it went through stages of reactions I got on Twitter of like, haha, and then, oh god, stop, and then it cycled back around to like, this is terrible, haha, and so I'm like, yeah, we'll just keep, like this is ironic now, no matter how anyone does this is fully ironic, but also it's a decent, it's a decent pose you can do. Does the scope cannon have glass? No, it's just glossy plastic. So that's a light of mine reflecting on it. But it's just solid black plastic. Can he do a rider kick? Kinda. He can't kick his legs forward, so he has to do, like, the sideways rider kick that, like, like less expensive figures kind of have to cheat. So it's okay, but, it's also, like, not quite. I think this is a bit better. What's the line? The value of human life is greater and more worth protecting than justice, God, or Buddha. I messed it all up. Don't tell anyone about that. If you do, I'm gonna tell them you did it and that you're trying to cover for it by saying I did it. I have the winning formula! It's space-time! Yeah, Lorenz, if they did drop-down hip joints, this figure would be elevated so much. Maybe it does stuff. Can you say, I'm gonna whip and nay-nay? I could do that better. Hang on, where's his pointing hand? Hang on. Hang on, just calm down, settle down. Hang on. Don't do it half-assed. If you're gonna do it right. I'm gonna whip and nay-nay! That's way better. That was way better. Use that one. That was better. The only one who can stop you is me! Barb D8 just finished Double Gaim and Exade. What rider show do you think you should watch next? Build. I think you'll probably have a fun time watching Build. Oh yeah, Nebula's scale with Red is like the only thing about Red scale that I would say I saw recently that made me go like, huh? Was the Red Bumblebee photos that came out showing that Bumblebee next to this Megatron in the Prime, and Bumblebee is like literally the same height and the same build, and like something about it just was like weird. It was like long Bumblebee. It's super weird. It was like Bumblebee, except like it's Bumblebee as you remember him, but also he got into calisthenics, and it's 10 years later, and he still remembers what you did to him at the track practice. Hagane no moonsault! I'm just catching up on the chat. Lumblebee. Sideswipe Prime 66 fell off after Gaim. What are the good post Gaim shows? Oh, there's plenty. Exade, Build, 01. Those are some good. In my opinion, those are some good Rider. If you've watched a lot of Rider, Zeo is tremendously fun. Zeo is just a heartfelt celebration of a show that made me smile so much. I guess because it is May 15th, I should mention that I watched all of those things fan-subbed, which are all still on trackers. Not maybe by the groups you want, but they're still out there on trackers if you start poking around. Robot Lorekeeper, I don't get who Red BB is for, because he's not got the cute vehicle mode, and he has weird battle damage for some reason, and he's out of scale, and we already have some tests. Yeah, that Bumblebee is just like, he doesn't even have, I mean, maybe I'm asking for too much. Does he even have the helicopter backpack? Lorenz, I don't have Red RC. This is the only Red toy I have. I was planning to get more Red toys, then this one made me go, huh. And then I looked at people's feedback on other ones, RC especially, and it made me really go, huh. And I don't know what's up. It's just something about the Red delivery is not working for me, and they cost close to the cost of deluxes, right? Like close enough for me to go like I'd rather just not spend the extra 20 something $30 each time for now. I'm just gonna wait. But this guy, I think, is like, of all the Red line, this guy is worth it for the sculpt, because just a good cartoony Megatron sculpt is, in my opinion, still just like, this is kind of rare, and this is probably the best way to get it, short of getting like MP36. Lorenz, the materials are kind of soft too, right? Yeah, they're like weird, and the material tactile feedback is what makes this even weirder, because like this feels like an ABS metal pinned ratchet joint, but then everything else is like bad era Marvel Legends gummy, and I don't know, it's weird. Joe Bob, quite odd for what's apparently a passion project. Still not sure what the point is. The removable chest. I think the removable chest on I guess just the non-G one, guys, is because they all have the ab joint, I think. And so on some figures, it's like, well, as a byproduct of the assembly, the chest would be coming off. So let's add some sculpted detail. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, that's neat. It's just, but it also adds to, yeah, like this, like Red is just weird. It doesn't really have a thesis other than 6-inch Transformer action figures. And it somehow, like, divides that thesis up into all these different weird directions. And then I think, like, the place where Red really lost me was when they revealed Starscream. And I'm like, Starscream doesn't aesthetically match Megatron or Soundwave. So, like, now he's even weirder. And excuse me. Yeah, Jotaku Toys, I feel that way too. Just to repeat it, the Red line feels like it'll just make TFN scoff more than usual at the idea of non-transforming Transformers, which is sad, considering all the really good examples out there. I fully agree. This concept is sound. The delivery on the Megatron is like a little bit weak. It seems like the delivery progressively onwards is getting like rougher, and it sucks, because this is like, this could have been really accessible, good Transformers action figures, and that's what I thought we were going to be getting. And instead, like, we're getting, like, some good sculpts, but as action figures, they feel dated in weird ways. Which is also so weird, because they have Figuarts wrists, almost. Actually, no, sorry, I messed this up almost in the review. They don't have Figuarts wrists, they have hinge wrists. which is Marvel Legendsy. You can't like move the wrist thing around, but they have these wrist joints, and then like depending on the sculpts, you can't get a whole lot out of them. Yeah, Robot Lorekeeper, I agree. Being a Marvel Legends collector must be a rough gig, because it could be like, this is the only toy of Big Wheel or Doorman or whoever gets made, and it sucks. I hit my desk, because that just made me remember. Darkhawk, Marvel Legends Darkhawk, kinda sucks, and is the only Darkhawk figure that's probably ever going to get made anytime soon. I bought it because it was Darkhawk, and then I was like, this kind of sucks. But what are my options? I'm getting all fired up about Marvel Legends of all things again. Ooh. Ooh. Anyway, I think it's about time. I've hit that the 181. Adam Malinsky, the number of times you've come across folks reacting badly to the Jada TF vehicles because they don't transform. Yeah, it's like my last little rant that I know I've done before. I'll get out of my system here. It's like I understand. I wholesale understand. Like, yeah, it's like Transformers that don't transform could be inherently off-putting, but like the language of how it's off-putting often frustrates me to hear. As it's always like, it's always the same jokes, you know. It's always like, oh, I can't believe Action Masters have come back. Or like, what's the point of a Transformer that doesn't transform? Because then you want to just grab someone by the neck and go like, listen, fool. None of them transform. They all convert. Read the box! But yeah, it's kind of annoying, because it's like, it's not a stretch. It's still a character-oriented media franchise. And like, I feel like those criticisms get levied at stuff like this before they get levied at stuff like pop vinyls even. Yeah, the MAS Prime and Megatron. As far as I could tell, they were like legit, not just legit toys, but like decent value for what they were as posable toys too. It's just Transformers is always in that weird place where it's like, well, it doesn't transform though. And it's like, okay. Yeah, first it's because pops are stylized. And you know, I'll throw in the important thing at the end. It's not like everyone has to like non-transforming Transformers. It's just like, I find a lot of the written reasoning and jokes and etc. is just like is so old now, and sometimes a little bit intentionally obtuse in a way that I find annoying. So I make fun of it. Anyway, I gotta check out. I gotta go cook some food, because my body's going like, hey, all you've had today was a cup of coffee and some Stroopwaffeln and that Coke you've been nursing for 3 hours. And I'm like, you might be right, body. You might be right. But yeah, thank you all for coming by, hanging out for some streaming times. I'll be kicking around, as always. And I'm going to try to film that box properly later today. Get that video up, hopefully before Monday, because I'd like to get that up on a week. It seems like a weekend video, you know? And then I got to start assembling those reviews so that I stop thinking it's complicated. I'm at the point now where I'm like, oh, it's so complicated to put the toy reviews together, right? And I'm like, it's not. It's just because you haven't done it enough lately that you think it's complicated. Anyway, no problem, Weebius. Always down just for a little bit of that whip and nay-nay. I gotta not do that. And yeah, I gotta do that thing where I try to time the ending of the stream to be a thing. So we'll just get a nice happily dominant posture in place here. Focus on rung, you monster. Alright. Take it easy, everyone. I'll catch you later.